Arlyn is on the brink of upheaval. For centuries, the clan struggled against giants until 400 years ago, new dragons crossed the Great Sea, forcing them to unite and build the 10 Bastions. As the threat faded, the clans fractured into the 10 Kingdoms, and all but the last Bastion were abandoned. As ancient calamities stir and darkness rises in the east, my 4 champions must rise up to unite the kingdoms, restore the Bastions, uncover their secrets, and stand against this darkness as a declaration of war.
Calagon Dör. I will discover the secrets of my lineage and cement my legacy as one of the greatest adventurers of all time.
Cleave still in here. The migration of the dragons forced the migration of peoples and beasts, which brings death. We're all invasive species now. I won't let us become extinct ones.
The name's Rodrick Elwood, the voice of this generation, and the greatest performer in lore. Oh, and you should see me with a bow.
And I, Arlyn Dursalai, searching for my father's sword, Trident, to bring justice to these lands. Together, we are the 4 Horsemen.
And this is Divine Inspiration.
Hello, welcome back to the final stream of the season of the 4 Horsemen.
Season 1 finale.
So excited. Honestly, these guys have been doing an absolute stellar job wrapping it up elsewhere. I am so excited to announce that Manny is, of course, back with us here for the final, part 2 of the finale. We'll call it. Almost lost an eye right off the bat too. But with that being said, we will be taking a short break for next week so that we can make sure that we get everything ready for the next campaign. So we'll be doing a whole lot here at the studio, trying to make sure that we've got everything set on our end. But we will, of course, following that week, be starting the brand new campaign with Manny as DM.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
The Great Sea Song.
Terrifying.
Quick little update to everyone's joy. He did just state that they will probably be leveling up a little bit faster than I've been leveling up our characters here.
Finally.
So
It's gonna be a seasonal campaign, so we only have like 3 or 4 months a year to play. So
that being said, I'm gonna give some love to, first and foremost, all the players here. Second,
Thank you, Tristan.
Slightly less foremost, but still very on the forefront of all of our minds, is Javi and his beautiful family. We love you guys. Past that is Historical Emporium for sending me free things throughout life. Those guys are awesome. Check out Historical Emporium, guys. Pretty dope stuff.
Okay.
But with that being said, I guess that's all of the announcements we've got for the moment until we hit Insight Check later tonight.
Yeah.
So, gather around, get cozy, and enjoy as we get to finish off our tale and tell it by divine inspiration. So, last week, Arlyn Dursalai, having gone off to meet with some ambassador, flying his way across the sea with Tristan Harantor, the leader of the orcs within Gracht. He was able to start towards his rundown on what he needs to know before he can act as an ambassador himself, speaking on Toscan's behalf. Having now been, we'll say, exiled from the Bastion for a time, he instead has found himself with his own set of responsibilities and his own trials, uniquely now speaking for the first time in a very big way as the voice of the 4 Horsemen, while Rodrick is instead acting as the leader. And so, inside we have Calagon and Cleave, both fighting for their lives under sands as they've continued to pour down, slowly beating them down. These two fighting elemental after elemental to try to keep these hourglasses alive, and now with both final hourglasses broken, and Rodrick's mask of transformation broken to go with it, the sands continue to pour down heavier and heavier and start to overwhelm, slowly pouring in over the floors and escaping the sides, filling the center of the room, and eventually closing off the entirety of the outer chamber within this bastion where these two are currently at. With that, Rodrick, you see as now from your vantage point high atop these walls, fighting this massive ant-like elemental of ether, you see far below this salamander burning and shooting flames, each licking up at your feet and immediately getting engulfed, all in one massive tidal wave that comes crashing, sands pouring over this salamander and hiding him in this dull glow that slowly vanishes into brown darkness below and piling up faster and faster, leaving you and this ant fighting above. You recognize that while there is something positive to be found with this salamander no longer being within your immediate visual, your friends now are entirely engulfed in a space with much, much lower ceilings, trapped in their entirety with no place to go as it currently stands. And so, as you face this ant-like creature quickly crawling its way towards you up these walls, you can see now where pulses of energy start to erupt with it, and you can tell that the space surrounding it is starting to distort, and you feel this pull as though this ant is getting stronger with every step, and you can see now as it rears up to make one massive crash down onto the surface that you guys are both sharing, onto this wall, that it has this underbelly to it, made up of these whitish sands that it had clearly torn from that transformation elemental that you had split previously. And as it impacts the ground, you feel these two pulses, just this light thudding, this dum, dum. And you watch now as the ant starts to just writhe in pain. And you can see where the sands from its stomach start to slowly fracture and fall. And you can tell in this moment that the damage that you had done previously on the transformation elemental at the point that you did has changed this fight monumentally. And you can tell that despite seeming stronger than ever before, this ant seems to be missing a portion of what it was supposed to grow into. And while trying its best to force its power out from it, despite the other hourglasses being broken, it doesn't seem to take on the same level of power that you'd seen previously from the pangolin. With that, as it crawls up to you, you watch as the sands below begin to quake with that same two-shot wave of force. And you start to feel as though your own heart is beginning to synchronize with the sounds, the pacing of the ziggurat, as it starts to deepen and feel closer and closer to you. It's in this moment that you recognize that in the adrenaline, in the rush of this fight, you've been exhausting yourself physically, and yet the power that's been inside of you, you've tapped into for sure, and yet not expent fully. Within the place of transformative power, all transmutation powers can be cast freely, which means that both uses of Zephyr Strike that you'd previously used do not count against you.
They don't count against me. So I get 2 spell slots back?
That's right.
And Zephyr Strike could be used at will?
Yes.
Oh.
Now,
Okay.
without the mask masking you from this power, you recognize that something in you is absorbing things, much like that mask had previously absorbed that power from the crystals, except it's not the crystals powering you. There's something deep within the bowels of the ziggurat that seem to be feeding you. You feel this warmth, this pressure, something that you'd felt previously when you all opened the ziggurat. And as this beat continues, you watch as the sands continue to just burst outward towards the walls as they start to fall, and slowly you can see the shaking of the sands below with each pulse as it continues on. With that, Rodrick, you are first in initiative.
Okay. I'm still trying to... Okay. I need to get back into this fight. So I am casting Cure Wounds on myself.
Haha, you can do that now, dang it. I'm thinking it's just gonna be mad Zephyr Strikes. I'm like, okay, how do I deal with that?
You took it. Oh yeah, I was gonna say you gave me back 2 spell
There's more.
slots, though. I need to do that really badly. Okay. So it's 2d8 plus 1. So 7 plus 5 is 12.
I gotta mess this guy up. 12 points of hit points? Is that what you just got?
No. 12 points of 12 points of hit points.
That's crazy. This guy got 12 hit points back already.
Alright,
Nice.
Alright, we're back in it. We're back in it. Not us, we're dead, but
Oh yeah, no, these guys are suffocating. They're eating sand.
And then for my bonus action, I'm going to finally move my hunter's mark onto him. And for my movement, I need to try to get away from this thing. So I'm going to keep climbing the walls in that other direction,
Okay.
which will place me about over there.
Yeah.
So, and I'm thinking to myself, oh no, I can't see them anymore. It's just me and this ant. And perhaps if I defeat it, I can save them. So I'm doing that as I'm like crawling and like grabbing my arms and trying to heal all my stuff.
Okay. Then will that be all for your turn, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. That's 7. We got 15.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Then with that, this is an unfortunate one, and I do apologize. You guys are currently suffocating, generally speaking. I would like for you each to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
No problem, Tristan. I could do that. 15.
Please cast things on each other, please. At this point, I feel like I'm the
11?
safest one now.
11? Okay.
We were hoping you would ascend from the ceiling. Thunderstruck being played in the background.
We're getting there. Cool. Well then, you guys are able to hold your breath in time. No issues there. Per rules as written, you can hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus your Constitution modifier to a minimum of 1. Sorry, minimum of 30 seconds. Misspoke. So, with that being said, Calagon, you're up. Everything is just
What's the plan?
pitch black where you're at as you are under sand.
the door, I guess. Or maybe
We can't. I mean, we're at the door. I try to jump through the door.
You have a pretty good idea of where you left off, so I'll leave that.
yeah,
So
we
we're-
don't have a lot of like leverage space to try to like
It is
launch and attack it.
exceptionally
Are we
hard to move in
restrained?
here.
Like, what's
Oh
the-
yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys will have to make
what about these
saves
tentacle
just to
things?
move at all.
Because I was right next to the tentacle door.
You were just shy of that, but you can definitely try to finish moving your way towards it if you like.
I tried to jump through it, and then he tried to push me through it, remember?
Was that the last bit there?
Yeah, I tried to get my arm
forgive
through.
me, I think I left off just slightly prior. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to get my
Just
arm through.
arm
and
through
then he
the-
tried to
the
push
door?
me through. Yeah.
You guys are sick.
So-
Alright, I love it.
I'm curious on what that looks like.
So again, the slats of the gate itself aren't exceptionally wide. It's long enough they're thin enough to get your arm through, but definitely going to be much harder to try to get like a full torso, head, or anything through there.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to try. Yeah, I don't have a breath weapon. I got nothing. I'm gonna try to just. Can
Calagon, keep pushing through. I'm gonna try something.
Yeah,
Just get ready.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep pushing through because I heard my best
Just
friend
get
say
ready.
that.
And I'm assuming that's what you wanted to do.
I was gonna try to like. Well, because I have my arm through, but if I take it out, I'm curious if the tentacles are still moving, or if like the sand has stopped them from moving as well.
You wouldn't be able to see.
Yeah. Okay.
You could try to like feel around and like waste time trying to deal with that just to feel that out, but it would be.
I was just gonna attack the tentacles.
Yeah, even attacking under here is gonna be.
I'm gonna pull my dagger out and just try to push forward, maybe even
Okay, just to like
with the dagger. Just
try to get through?
Just try to move forward with it.
Okay.
Because I know the door's in front of me, so I'm just gonna try to like push through with the dagger, maybe.
Okay, I'll say make an attack at disadvantage.
I was talking. I'm gonna take away 30 of my seconds of suffocation.
At disadvantage. Well, that's gonna probably be it. No, that's gonna be worse. I rolled a 2. What was I even supposed
Very
to roll?
good. You're just attacking.
Okay, yeah. No, it's not gonna.
Okay, cool.
It's not gonna happen.
Then while you
That's a
guys
6.
are fighting your way out of the sands below, Rodrick, you get a front row seat to what is likely the most terrifying thing that most people would ever experience in life, as this ant just rushes up on you, getting pelted now in the same ways that you are by some of these sands trying to slide its way past. You watch as these things just like clicking off of its head, each just slamming into its exoskeleton, and as it's beating down on it, you can tell that this thing is going full force. And unfortunately, it did take just a touch more speed than what it had to even reach you. So that's going to be its turn. Cleave, do you have anything on your end?
Alright. I would like a judgment call first before I make any decisions.
Very
so
good.
I don't know if you're going to make me do an intelligence check, if you're going to tell me the answer. If I turn, I can transform now, right? If
Yeah.
I transform
Yeah, you
into
can.
something big, do I just harm both of us?
Mostly you just like shift everything out of the way.
Okay.
Um,
Alright.
Yeah, because you can technically fill the space. There's technically room for sands to move here. It's just like not like in the way that you guys would want it to.
Okay. Then I would like to turn into a silverback gorilla.
Sure, Joel.
And then I would like, this is bonus action, and then I would like to brace my chest to Calagon's back and reach all limbs, all my hands that I have, all 4 hands, in all directions, splayed out, and grab at the tentacle wall, and then just sort of like push, like both of us through. Just try to like pull over the course of, even if it's a few turns. I just want to try to like grab everything out of our way and then just like pull us through, like.
Yeah, just make a strength check, I guess.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Oh man.
Strength check as a silverback.
Because he's also fighting the thing. Like, I'll just say that's a flat roll still somehow.
What's your silverback modifier?
Ah, it's really heavy.
Should I
even for a
wait? I can wait a
silverback.
minute and just call this some kind of.
No, just roll it. Go ahead. Strength check.
Come on.
A lot of factors here, surprisingly.
Boy,
Go,
boy, boy.
let
The
go.
DC is
Hold on
high,
a
I will
second.
say, but
Let me see what's there. Let me do this. Here we go. athletics maybe?
Just a strength check.
It wouldn't be considered that. All right. Because the gorilla specifically has a skill for athletics for like climbing and stuff. This is kind of that.
It's pretty much
What
that.
about for
Tristan.
grappling? Does it have anything for grappling? You're technically having to fend off a creature as you do this.
I mean, okay, so like the the attack and the athletic skill, all that would be a +5. If you're saying that it's not proficient in like this action, then it would be a +3.
It's a +4, Joel.
Okay, so 22.
Let's go. Push me through that door, Joel.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Calagon, as you start reaching around, you kind of, and you feel this like ooze just like shoot up your arm, and then suddenly you are pressed face first against this bone grate, and you can feel now where you're just getting squished from two sides, just squeezed with the might of a silverback gorilla.
Now I have
Oh my gosh.
And we're gonna pick back up with Rodrick
Oh man.
fighting the ant.
Yeah, no, it was great. That's how I wanted to die. Being bear hugged.
In a hug, yeah.
Suffocating.
Gorilla hug.
You're lucky that was a positive roll. That was a 14. Anything below 10, I was gonna make you make another Constitution save because you're getting
Vibes
squished.
are high right now. You can't keep us down, Tristan.
All right, Rodrick, what you got?
All right. Since the ant now got too close, I am going to cast Zephyr Strike,
There it is.
and I'm gonna pull out my Lash of Immolation. And here we go.
Very good.
That was a better one.
All right.
Oh, he's searching. I see him. I see him moving. Everybody's
real
on it
sound.
today.
All right. Ready.
The sands are slowing it. There you go.
Delayed.
Okay. Thank God for Zephyr Strike.
Oh, that's right, because it grants you advantage on your first strike or whatever.
Yep.
That thing is
okay.
busted. That's crazy.
So
We need a
for that
non-transformation
one,
transmutation
comes out to
bet.
20 to hit.
Yeah, I think that'll
Nice.
do it.
All right.
That's
So,
crazy.
Let's start rolling.
Spell slot.
All right, ready?
Let's hope.
Okay, so let's start off with 9 slashing damage.
Okay.
6 fire damage. 1 force damage from Hunter's Mark.
That ain't doing a dang thing.
And then
Back in the game, is he?
Let's find out.
a D8.
Let's find out.
And then 5 force damage from Zephyr Strike.
Alright, also not doing anything to this ant, unfortunately. You watch as what would normally blow back different aspects of these creatures, this thing remains completely unfazed by those. While the burning and the slashing do seem to affect it, the force, unfortunately, does nothing.
And at that point, I am going to move. I'm making it chase me, so I'm sorry.
Manny's mad at us.
Hey, hold up. Let me check this page. So I'm gonna move.
Oh, we got
By the
plans
way,
over here.
I can move 60 feet,
Rodrick, he's our
and
man.
I take no opportunity attacks.
If he can't do it, no one can.
Ah!
Go, Rodrick.
Which then
That's
puts
great,
me
yeah.
back behind
That's wild.
behind the hourglass.
Yeah, run that play, man. Yeah, just
Let's
keep doing that.
go.
I can't hit you.
He's just slowly been abusing these things hidden behind it.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Okay.
Can't wait till he tells the story. I was in front of it the whole time.
Alrighty.
Didn't
Never
hide
ran
once.
like a coward. Pressed now against this gate, feeling the firmness of the silverback chest bearing at your back, and the sharp grate paired with the ooze slapping around at your torso and arms. What would you like to do in this unusual circumstance?
In this unusual circumstance, I have, honestly, this isn't going to really do anything, but I'm going to try it. So Alter Self gives me an aquatic adaptation, and then it gives me a natural weapons, like I can grow claws and hooves and stuff like that.
Yeah, you pick whatever type of adaptation you'd like.
So, like, if I wanted to be more like a pendulin, what is it called?
Pangolin?
Pangolin, I'd be able to do that.
Technically speaking, you could definitely take on certain traits of a pangolin, yes.
Like for burrow speed?
I think it would certainly aid you.
Okay. Yeah, because after watching Rodrick fight one through the door, I noticed it had armor, moves well in the sand, so I'm going to try to alter self into some sort of
Pangolin type.
Pangolin type.
This is like the Benedict
thing.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
This is good. Now,
Bandersnatch.
are you going to change your size, shape, form, anything of that
Not
sort?
size, just yeah. I
This
mean,
gets like
shape and form in a sense. Yeah.
I'll
Like,
be nice.
Would I even get?
You're, again, very large compared to the openings in this gate.
So I want to go very small.
But
Is that what you're saying?
You can do that?
You can get a little bit smaller.
No,
with it. believe.
I can change my height, weight. So I'm just gonna get. I guess I've never used this before, so
Yeah.
bear with me here.
That's why I was gonna say I have a little bit of familiarity with that one. So I was like,
Because it says alter self, alter appearance, but it also gives me physical things that I could change. So I don't know what the line is between
Yeah.
like just physical attributes or like a complete.
yeah, it's
change.
minor aspects of both ends.
Okay.
So you can alter
So
just
I want to turn
a
into
little
a
bit.
tiny pangolin. As
Tiny
small
little
as I
pangolin
can.
man.
Yeah.
It's like a weird hybrid of sorts.
The pressure is getting to me, so I'm just
Hideous.
It's basically what you saw Rodrick looking like.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Okay,
slightly
okay.
armored, slightly clawed up,
Perfect.
but still humanoid, you know?
And yeah, that's what I'm gonna.
And needle.
Strange form.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Alrighty. Yeah.
How small can you become?
It doesn't say.
I think you can change up to like a foot or something like that. Like
It
so, like
doesn't
you
say.
can get pretty significantly
Yeah,
smaller.
just get,
I'd
like
say.
skinny and shorter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we can-
Yeah, whatever you let me do, Tristan. I'm gonna go for that.
Say that's about accurate.
Cool. And then I'm gonna try to bust through the door
Pretty
as
sure
my
at least.
smaller self.
Okay.
With my new claws.
It is an action for alter self,
Yes, it is.
but using like
I guess
just
movement.
bonus action movement stuff, I'll say that you can start pushing towards there, so that if
Yeah.
Joel's gonna continue squeezing you this next turn, depending on how things go with this following save,
Let's go.
there's a chance.
Okay.
I'll leave it
perfect.
there. There's a chance.
Leave it there. I'm
All
happy.
right. Absurd as always.
That was
I love
a
it.
weird round. I
right.
just let you do my
We're
round
having a
for
time
me,
over
pretty
here, man,
much.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, you see the back and forth. It's not going well for this ant trying to kill Rodrick. It's doing its absolute best. It's trying its darndest. And ants can squeeze into pretty small spaces. This thing is slowly squeezing in there, but it's really having to force its head in there as it's just slightly just trying to bite at you. And unfortunately, it did also have to dash just to get here once again. So, with that being said, Cleave, what are you doing while your buddy's fighting his way through
I'm trying
this
to figure
gate
out
here?
if I'm hurting him. His body's shifting. I don't know how well I can see.
Not at all.
Push.
I keep pushing.
Okay.
Get me out of here.
Doing
All right. I would like for you to make a flat strength check once more.
with a +4.
Yeah. +4.
Well,
What you got?
I do say. You say. It's real. It's real.
20.
Is a natural 20 plus 4.
Push me through that door, Cleave.
As you feel his form start to compress, you literally feel this moment where squeezing your chest against him, just pulling with all fours, you start to feel as his form now squishes rapidly for a second and shortens, and then you hear him, and as you pull back, as he tells you to continue, you barely hear it over all the sands and the shifting. You muffled, just inches away from you still. You hear it, and it's just enough space that you've created that sands are starting to trickle between you again, and with one last hit, you can feel where his form starts to shift rather rapidly compared to how it was previously. I would like for you to still make a strength saving throw for me, Joel.
Strength saving throw.
See if I breached. Get the cork
I'm
pop noise
killing
ready.
it as a gorilla, bro. This thing is it's not even just its strength. I'm rolling. And the lowest I've done is an 18 so far. Let's see. Saving throws? It doesn't specify, so I'll just call that a 22.
You feel now as the dripping of this ooze now starts to enter within the creases of your fingers and start to
Am I squeezing the tentacles to
expand
death?
as they're all slowly filling that space within your hands between you and the bony gate itself, and it's starting to ooze in between and starting to try to widen your grip to push you away from this gate. And yet you start pulling your body closer and holding on, fighting the strength of this unusual just goop
Gorillas are the
that
best
you
animals.
so hate.
That's a real life Joel fact. I hate goop.
What?
So
But I also hate most of the animals Cleave loves.
Rodrick,
I want
My
to know if I made
friend.
it inside.
what you got for us?
I've got a whole lot of annoyance, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I'm casting Zephyr Strike again.
That was what I feared this whole time, but I made you suffer enough, so it's about time.
What you feared? What do you mean? You told me at the start of the session I can cast it freely. You didn't think I was going to cast it every
You can
time.
cast anything transmutation, technically. That's all I'm saying.
It's Zephyr Strike every time. Alrighty. Take out my laugh of immolation.
There you go.
That's going to be 26 to hit.
What happened? We were rolling so bad last week, guys.
Let's
We need
go.
to get
It's
back in
finale.
this, man. We gotta
It's
get.
This is crazy.
Season finale. That's what it is.
Our dice knew that the last one was a fake finale. This is the real one.
Yeah, literally.
Oh.
It wanted to build a suspense last week.
Okay, so it's going to be 7 slashing damage,
We rolled so many nat ones last week.
Very
It was
good.
Unreal.
That's rough.
6 fire damage,
Okay. Uh-huh.
That sound effect is
and might as well not even roll
was the sound of our
all
nat
the
ones
force
last
stuff,
week.
right?
Yeah, there's really no need when you finish off a creature, so please, Rodrick, do tell us how that goes.
Okay. Well, ants are segmented, aren't they?
They are.
Up.
All right. I'm going for the thorax.
Very good.
And I'm going to wrap around it,
It's the only bug body part I know.
and
I
I'm
know that
going
in everything.
and I'm going to yank
A 10,
tight
I know a 10.
to split it in two.
Fantastic. As you now pull, you watch as the remainder of those sands from its underbelly just and pop open, just kind of bursting with just sand. Don't worry, guys.
Okay.
Okay. But that
Family
force
friendly.
of
Just saying.
its death does
Like the
just
opposite
blow
of
all
Oogie
that
Boogie's
back,
death.
and you
Not
watch
bringing the
now
wheel.
as the sands from all around you start to just fly back and away from you, and as it does, that beating starts to increase. It's getting louder and louder.
As it increases, I'm assuming that I feel very like jittery, you know, like because isn't my heart matching the same
Oh, yeah.
pace? So I will start screaming, "I'm him! Oh my goodness, I'm him!" While this happens,
Why?
I wish I'm gonna start quickly scurrying like a little ant on over to see if I can get to that doorway. So I will move. I will take my Zephyr Strike again and start moving at 60-foot paces, which will then land me all the way out here.
Oh, we needed that. You got it. You got the win.
So I'm going to start making my way towards that door to see if I can somehow open it from the other side so that they can get out of their room.
As that heartbeat rapidly increases, you feel it getting stronger within you. You hear it getting louder around you, and you can see the visible effects of the shifting of sands as they all pulsate and start to just rapidly push outward. And before you know it, you see where those bursts of energy coming out from the ground start to leave those sands floating in place. And wave after wave, the sands begin to just rise higher and higher. And you watch now where all at once they start to go in full reverse, as though filling the spaces where they had once fallen from.
Oh.
And as the sands once fell, so they
It's
now
reversing the sand.
instead rise,
Huh.
flying up into the ceiling above you and back
Is Calagon.
into the hourglass. As the hourglass itself begins to spin, it begins to rotate upward. And in their place, just as the sands once fell, water starts to drip down from the ceiling above you. And
No way
with
I'm going to
that-
have to defeat this room in every single element, right?
No way. There's no way. Okay, this is not finale.
Oh, what is that?
We'll see you guys next year.
What is that?
With that,
Oh no.
you can hear now this
I'm going to go, oh, come on.
massive outpouring of water start to fill the space, and yet, unlike before, it's not rising. It's calming. You can see now where this water cascades down that back wall that you had just been against moments prior, and this mass waterfall just escaping from where you'd previously been, as though the ceiling itself had broken out to give way for all of this water to take that place. And yet, as you
beat
look
the air?
around, there are no creatures except for your friends. Calagon, in an unusual new form that you've not quite seen before. And Cleave, just outside, as a giant silverback gorilla, clearly fighting his way to hold on to this gate as these tentacles are grabbing at not only him, but Calagon as he's slowly making his way away from the gate. And with that, you guys are now out of initiative.
What? The pulsing's still going?
It is.
And I'm still battling these tentacles, you're saying?
The tentacles are still there. Yeah.
And I'm still tiny.
And you're still pretty small, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I'm just making ape sounds then.
Instead, you
We
can
need
see
to get
now-
I'm not here, I know. But do you guys remember the encryption? To grab the weapon of the Bastion? It said you must go through the waterfall, not sandfall.
I don't
We
remember that
might-
encryption.
Be there.
But I will say, upon all this changing, I was still on the wall, and where the map put me upon this change was right on the waterfall. So
Solid.
I'm going to go into the water, just smashing down on my face while I'm trying to hold the wall, thus making the wall very slippery. Thus, me falling into
Featherfall, featherfall,
He finally died!
yeah.
featherfall.
No, it's fine. I'm falling into water. I don't have to feather fall.
Yeah, I guess.
That's awesome. Okay. And so, as you now fall in, splashing below, you can see now where Calagon is just kind of standing there, looking back and forth, now slightly almost armored looking, clawed up, and pacing away from this wall. But with that, take it away, guys. It's all you.
I'm gonna change myself back.
Okay.
I'm swimming to get to the steps, and then climbing up the steps just completely soaked.
It's fairly shallow, but like
I'm still
it
swimming.
is enough to like lightly swim.
No,
Still.
I'll swim. I'll make it look less shallow. my stomach is scraping against the floor, like swimming in a kiddie pool.
He's crawling with his hands. Just doggy paddling with his hands.
I'm gonna run over to Calagon. Calagon!
Good job, Rodrick.
Are you
You
still
made
small?
it through.
Are you still small?
Good
No, he dropped it. I thought you said you dropped it, right?
You made it through. Now I drop it. We gotta get Cleave through.
How did you get through?
He pushed me, and I shrunk.
I'm still there, just like.
Maybe if we both strike it at the same time, we can create a hole big enough for him to run through.
Okay, I'll strike it first. Whoosh! And
Cleave,
you see fire
back
just
up.
go on this on this whip.
And I'm gonna try to firebolt at the same time he.
Okay, go ahead and roll the hit, guys.
I'm gonna
back up.
Ooh,
I'm actually
22.
gonna cast Zephyr Strike again.
Yeah.
Back up. Drop form.
Oh, wow.
And then get
Why
into like a
can't-
sprinter stance, and then
Okay.
if they make a hole, I wanna dive at it and turn into like a.
So it's gonna be
ant.
17 to hit.
You're gonna scar Rodrick with that. Yeah, also hits.
I rolled a 10 for damage.
Okay.
Do I do the damage?
Yes, sir.
All right.
That'll determine a lot here.
8 slashing damage. 2 fire damage.
Okay.
And 8 force damage.
Very good.
So 28.
Yeah,
Insane.
a sizable
Sheesh.
chunk just like splatters outward, and you can see where it starts slowly like crawling its way back, as though it's some sort of organic material that's permanently
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
trying to just protect this gate. And you watch as Cleave now full sprint runs and dives head first and vanishes.
Never mind.
Mad dramatic.
And this is why you don't cue sounds until he finishes talking.
Vanishes.
Disappeared.
Reappearing on the other side, obviously not taking fall damage despite him being tiny and flying through the air. Because as we know, ants are ethereal, gravitic beings, and they take no fall damage for some reason in life.
That's wild.
Yeah,
But-
just back on the other side.
You make it.
Well, what do we do? That was amazing. You killed all the things. We didn't
did.
kill like any of our things.
I know.
That was bad.
I know.
We did, but they kept coming back.
Yeah, that's just true. We did kill a lot of them.
But you did great. I knew we should have sent you in.
Well, you sent the right man across. The leader
We did.
of the 4 horsemen.
Strongest.
I've once again succeeded in my position. Now with Arlyn being dead.
Interim. Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I hope Arlyn's not dead. What about this water thing, though? Oh, where we go now, leader?
Well, I'm not sure, but at least the water's fresh. After all that sand, I think you guys could take a little dip.
I'm gonna walk
You're not
over to
dry.
the water.
My mouth was so dry on that
I'm
wall.
gonna try to drink the water, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. No. It is pure fresh water.
Cool.
Spring fed.
Yeah, safe.
Actually,
All right.
Spring fried.
yes.
It's delicious.
I can tell the difference. I'm from the forest.
Okay. Well, is there a way out of here?
Yeah, I do the same. I drink some water too.
Nice.
Well, given the fact that this is a place of transmutation, so where things change, Perhaps the same way out is through what already changed, so through the waters.
Everybody go ahead and make a perception check for me then.
17.
6.
My perception was 5, so it's really just water. I'm not sure where to go.
17 is definitely enough that the mists are kind of scattering back up from all those streams dropping downward, and yet you can see lightly around that kind of center region. There are slight drops that are just reflecting and spiraling upward still along the same path where some of those sands had previously
In that big
followed.
center pool at the
Yep.
end? I'm just gonna wordlessly just like follow it and start walking towards it, like looking up.
And I'll follow you.
Just like, wow. Wait a minute. Is my perception good enough to see all these chests on the side? What's going on there? Is that exciting? Or no, they were there, but in different
They had
form
been there
before.
previously. Rodrick got to experience a bunch of sand flying out from them and bolstering the transformation elemental previously.
Okay. Yeah, I keep coming up this way. Then I want to look up and down.
Okay. Looking up, there does seem to still be this path of water going up into just darkness, as there is a circular, almost like entryway above it.
Think we should jump in?
Yeah, they worked for us once, didn't it? That's how we got our powers.
Yeah. I think so. Rodrick? Jump
Oh.
in?
Would you like me to go first again?
No, I'll go first this time. I'll change into the aquatic form
Nice.
and jump in.
It's like, alright. Hopping in.
You know what's crazy? I can't even do that junk yet. I can't turn
You
into
watch
anything with no speed.
as slowly it starts to spiral into a mist and very quickly starts to actually enshroud him to a point where you guys have a hard time seeing his form within this center column as the waters now start to rise. And similar to what you guys had all experienced once together, these waters now start to all rise in one column,
Great.
bringing you back upward, and you all watch as now Calagon vanishes in a column of water. And then it dies
Wow.
back down.
I have gills though, so don't worry. We're good.
Wait, but then it dies back down and...
And he's gone?
He's
Yep.
gone? What? Wow. Huh.
I'm gonna walk all around it to the other side and double check that there's nothing between this waterfall as well. I'm gonna try to like do like a little shape water part, see if I can see through it.
Cool. And pulling it apart, you recognize the clear entryway to some sort of cavern system behind.
Ah, we left Calagon in this space.
You can see now, with your better perception than everyone else's, that as these pulses are coming, some of the water is splashing out from behind there. You can feel now that the force is coming from behind this waterfall.
Well, should we follow Calagon first? And come look over here, though. It looks like this is where we have to get to eventually.
Do I feel any personal pull through this waterfall? Maybe spiritual tie,
Nothing specifically, no?
physical tie,
Well, you saw the physical tie, but that's
emotional
about
tie, maybe?
it. Maybe briefly when you see
Winds
your
are
own
not
reflection,
tied.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pad tie.
Calagon may have left his food behind.
Okay. Cleave. I'm going to go through the waterfall. And you're going to be left to make a choice. You either follow Calagon or you follow me.
Okay.
I really don't think I'm equipped to make choices anymore. Please take this from me.
Cleave, I can't make these choices in your stead, but I can guide you in the direction that makes the most sense. Would you like to hear my input?
Please.
It's me. Duh. Follow me. Did you see what I did to the elemental? I am literally him. It's me. This is what this has all been about. This whole story. It's all about me. You can see it in my reflection, Cleave. Turn around. I turn his face. I hold his face towards the reflection. Do you know how I got these scars, Cleave?
I'm just staring wide-eyed.
It was
And
a
then I look
rebirth.
down,
Cleave,
look back up.
your action was not of your own doing. It was all in the greater will. I was meant to die and be reborn as the greatest performer that's ever lived.
The ether room did say something like that. You would have
At that
to-
point when I say that, I am actually going to, cast disguise self and turn back into my old self without the scars.
Whoa!
That seems like some supervillain nonsense.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Truly
He loses
cinematic.
his
I
breath
love that.
more than he did under the sands.
That's actually crazy. I didn't even put two and two together for that.
Cool.
That you could just do that. That's so sick.
If you tell me Calagon will be safe, I will believe you.
Calagon's been safe all this time. He's been under my protection.
Okay.
I take a bunch of the water that's falling and freeze it in place, and then literally freeze it in place as a bridge. And then I continue to part the waters like over the bridge for you to walk through.
I'll be back with news, Cleave, if you choose to stay here and wait for Calagon to come back.
So it's all about you.
And I promise when I come back, I will promote you to your rightful place as
Do you want-
creature of the realm.
He doesn't know what that means, but he feels honored. He just bows his head a little bit. Shall I take the first steps to test it?
No. I'm brave enough to make the walk on my own.
I'll follow you then.
As I start,
I'll always follow you.
as I start
As
walking
long
up,
as Arlyn's dead.
as I start walking up into the water, I'm like almost getting into the water. I'm gonna turn around at Cleave and say, Cleave, one more thing.
Yes.
One shape, many shapes. Just don't forget to always be yourself. And I'm gonna walk through the waterfall.
Mr. Inspiration here. Rodrick is divine inspiration.
I follow behind him, head held high.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give him a bardic inspiration for that.
Yes, please. That's perfect.
Go ahead and get a d6 for your next thing.
For bardic inspiration.
I just picture myself like looking down through like a sunroof, like at you guys. Well, are they coming up or what?
Back up top. I may need to edit this a little bit. Let me see what's hidden in here.
I assume
What?
you left. Yes.
Yeah,
Excellent.
probably gone.
There you go. Yep, let me hide these a little bit. As, of course, Calagon.
Calagon.
you find yourself right back up top,
Ooh, it's hot.
the center of the ziggurat.
Just waiting for them to come.
Very
They're
good.
right behind me. They'll be here any second now, right?
Good, like 5 minutes pass. Clearly not there yet.
Welcome to my
guys.
life.
What the heck? Do I see anything? Anybody? Anything around me? Nothing?
Looking around where you'd previously seen energy flowing when touching this portal where Arlyn had vanished that first time, you can see now just this trace, this sliver of multicolored energy just encircling you where you stand within this platform. But otherwise, nothing. Nothing new, at least.
Really? Doesn't find a piece of parchment.
Oh,
With
true. There is a
writing.
parchment somewhere over there, isn't there? Although, you did put that at the center, right?
Right at the center where he's at, right
So
there.
that would probably pop up a second later.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
A little letter from Arlyn.
Oh, look, a little letter from Arlyn. What does it say?
Oh man, you're gonna make me recall that?
Basically, just
Basically, it says, I met, what's his name again?
Toscan.
Toscan, the leader of the orcs. He is taking me to speak on their behalf to mediate a peace treaty between Gracht and the Vindrel dynasty. This is not my forte. Help. I think I'm gonna die.
Got it.
Please come quick. I love you, amen.
Amen. Yep. Okay. I saw that coming.
As you finish
Arlyn, there's a
reading
lie.
this, you can feel this pull now, starting to slowly weigh you down as that energy starts rapidly encircling, faster and
Like
faster.
pulling me into the sand?
Well, it's a hard ground below you currently.
I'm just gonna sit cross-legged and rest. See what happens.
Cool.
My friends
And,
should be coming any minute now.
So you sit there cross-legged, reading this parchment. You just feel this weightlessness.
Oh, whoa.
And as the floor now starts to just trickle out below you, you can feel the same thing you'd felt previously, dropping from floor to floor, as you now just slowly fall through this darkness once more. And you end up right back where you were just moments before.
Huh?
Well, that was fun. In the water?
Yep.
Alright. I'm gonna get out.
Are we still in the room?
I
You
think
are.
went
You
through
guys
the-
just walked right out through the
Wait,
waterfall.
did you follow?
I was planning to, yeah.
You followed?
I think you were just in the circle for too long. That's my assumption.
Yeah, I think it's just a back and
portal
forth
now.
teleporter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a portal now.
Okay.
It's open.
I'm gonna hop out and I'm gonna see the water on the floor from where they
Sure,
walk
there's
through.
ice just kind of
There's a
jetting
full
out.
ice bridge. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to follow that.
Nice. And vanishing out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
right. Don't come back.
You guys
You know the kind of confidence that
Never
Elsa
bothered
walks
me
with?
anyway.
Find yourselves.
That strut? The Elsa
right
strut?
now?
Yeah.
That's what...
That Elsa strut.
That's what Rodrick is doing
Rodrick,
walking down
yeah.
that bridge. Just...
hearing
And I'm
their
completely
voices,
basking in it too. I'm just Calagon.
having taken some time to talk it out.
Rodrick spoke it,
You are
and so it was so.
right behind them still,
Oh, cool.
entering in. You see
So you
now
are safe.
Cleave following Rodrick in just before you.
Hey, what the heck, guys? I thought you were following me.
It has been prophesied.
What? Cleve?
Rodrick said that you would be safe and you would return to us, and here you are.
That's so crazy.
Stepping foot into this cave system. Hearing the absolute nonsense coming from your best friend. You immediately recognize that the water at your feet is once again bioluminescent and shifting not just with your
Whoa.
steps but with the pulses of this beat.
Like from the
lighting up
cave.
the caverns before you.
Do we notice
And
like
pushing
any
out
direction specifically?
It seems to be coming from direct north.
Okay.
But you can see where there are once again engravings all around you,
Ooh.
etched into the walls here.
Cleave, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, but I think this is getting to Roderick's head. As I look straight at him, it's
I'm
probably
just, I'm
hurt.
just looking back at him with like a slight smile.
It's definitely getting to Roderick's head. Hey, Roderick,
Yes.
where to next, buddy?
I say we take our time with this one.
I'm gonna take.
Let's not miss a single engraving in this building. Why don't we ask Arendor what every single thing means?
Mm-hmm. Very good.
I mean, he might be busy, but you could
I
try.
have a feeling that the voice of Arendor is here right now with us.
Never heard of the guy.
I'm gonna unfreeze the water bridge, the ice bridge, and then I'm gonna dip one of my torches into the water and pull out a cube block of ice that's glowing.
That's so
That's
sick.
pretty cool.
Baller.
Maybe not a cube, actually. It'll be like just like a ball. Almost looking like a fire, like a flame.
Well, as our leader,
Choke
maybe
up on
you
it.
should be the one to contact him.
You
Okay,
are the voice.
I'm going to walk up to the first engraving I see. And as I place my hand on it, I'm going to close my eyes. And I'm going to say, Arendor, as your new appointed leader, now succeeding Arlyn after his death,
Didn't mention
please
anything about the letter, I guess. Or probably.
grant your communication to me. Fill me in on what all of this means and how I can best help my team. How I can help them transform into the beings that I know they are. Cleave being the creature of the realm. Calagon,
Creature of the realm.
Being
I've
in
yet
the
to
way.
see what his true potential is. In my eyes, he is still a mere cold-blooded animal. But also are you. So the shoes are great to fill, Arendor.
Did you say also are you?
How are you, he said?
The guy that gave us all
Give
the
me
power.
eyes.
Rodrick is back.
Give me eyes to see
Very
and
convincing.
a mouth to speak, Arendor.
As you have now learned in this moment, Arendor does not seem to respond to you guys when you try this. And it's certainly apparent as you just stand there in silence, rubbing away at the engravings on these walls, speaking all this forward. You just slowly hear the drips of water behind you and from your own cloak beside you, where you're just still standing there.
I'm just holding the ice torch over
As I'm
his
doing
head
it, I'm
in
going to say,
awe.
What does he say?
Yes.
You can say anything and I'll believe you.
Yes.
Pulses
Yes.
continue from that center.
What does it look like, the engraving?
Where are you at currently?
I am.
It's gonna get crazy.
Oh, I love that Rodrick is back now. I am going to have actually walked to this eastern wall
Confidence is
first.
back for sure.
With every step, you feel the power growing stronger, and there are less engravings over here, but you can see what look like a series of creatures as though they're walking toward the center, heading northward.
As I hear
Man!
that,
Engravings
I'm
of that,
going to
or
mention
see
that.
them?
Man!
Engravings.
What were you
Yeah.
going to say?
Well, I'm assuming I heard what you said, and I'm just going to be like, Arlen's not dead. And then. But I'm going to let you go. I'm just going to mention that Arlen's not dead.
What?
Arlen's not dead. He's off to Grokt.
How do you
to,
know this?
I got this letter. It's all wet now.
Oh.
I'll unwet it.
But
No, hand it to
true.
Cleave. Here, read it, Cleave.
there's no way. Give it to me. Let me see
It
it.
says it's got the ink got a little. And I pass it to you.
I read it. Lies. There's no way.
What do you mean there's no way?
There's no way he's still alive. I can feel it. I'm the captain now.
Rodrick, listen, you did great back there, but I think you need to calm down.
No,
a
but
little bit.
Arlyn has spoken to me, Calagon.
Well, he didn't tell you what those
Know
things
your
meant.
place. Yes, he did.
Know my place. You're saying one of our best friends is dead, and you're not happy that he's alive.
You forged this note. To turn
How would I
against
have
me.
been able to do that? I just went upstairs.
What's wrong with it right now?
I can't, Rodrick. I don't know what's going on with you. I can't deal with this. I'm
If
just gonna walk away.
If I'm gonna look at Cleave.
Calagon is no heretic.
I'm walking straight.
Cleave, if
words.
Arlyn Dör in fact did not speak to me, how would I know the following message?
Oh no.
$15 deception.
Oh, sure.
You can see a little bit further in, obviously, now, Calagon, if you'd like to check the map.
What'd you roll?
Okay.
What is my thing? Make sure I
Be
got
insight,
this
right? Insight to deception.
Yeah, that is a 22.
Ooh.
Natural
God.
20 actually, but
Sheesh.
We know you're full of crap.
So I am gonna say
That's
he told me to follow the creatures to the answer. These creatures that seem to be walking north. To follow them. Little bit of a trick question there because I told you the truth. The only part of the deception there is that he did not tell it to me.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna
Looking
only
around,
by
there's some
speaking to why did I forget his name for his name?
Arlyn Dör?
Arlyn Dör. Could he know such a thing? Looking at the picture of the clearly just like people walking that way. Calagon, you must believe.
I'm already.
I put my
I've walked
hand on
forward.
your shoulder. No, no, you
I'm
walk
gone.
You're gonna have
I'm
to-
calling after you then. I'm calling after you then. Calagon, surely you must believe. And I'll even know. I'll run and chase after you. You must. He is our voice. And as soon as I get close to you, I want to put my hand on your shoulder and say, "He's lying through his teeth."
Listen, wherever we need to be.
After he passed me, I'm gonna be back there just looking at them like this.
He's a menace of a whole other variety.
Whatever we need, wherever we need to be, it's right in front of us.
He did something incredible, and I really believe in him. But I think it's really gone to his head.
It's definitely gone to his head. Look at him.
I look over with awe, as much awe as I can muster, just like, oh, wow.
I'm going to cast a message into Cleave's ear and do my best Arlyn Dör impression.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, where is this going?
Uh-huh.
Jeez.
Okay, that's a performance check for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say,
Right off the
The
bat.
greatest performer in Allura. Let's see it.
he tells the truth.
You're turning us
worst.
against each other, dude.
Listen to the intro, guys. That's not how he sounds at all. It's okay.
Yeah, right.
13.
Is it me again?
Based on your previous insight already, that clearly is not gonna fly.
Okay. You okay, Cleave?
Now I have to bounce around the idea of lying back now to him. Oh boy, do I do it? The simplest one.
He just makes all his decisions on whimsy. Like, I don't want to make this decision. Whimsy.
Cleave doesn't want to make decisions anymore. He is your voice. I almost can hear it in yours.
Deception.
It's true. You want me to deceptify? Yeah. I'll
Deception
try
and
my
insight.
best.
For sure.
back and forth. We're just lying to each other.
19 inside.
7.
We're lying to each other knowing that
This is so bad.
we both know we're lying to each other.
Couple liars
Just like wide-eyed, just like
lying through their teeth, staring each other down, having some conversation out loud, some hidden in their minds, and just staring at each other longingly as Calagon, you just like start walking away
Yep.
and ignoring half of what's going on.
It's so funny.
These guys.
The smirk from my face has now gone.
Hey guys, when you're done leaving me out of the conversation, let's keep going.
it was Arrendal.
You can tell
I'm,
that
like,
it's
shaking my
still
head.
pulsing from like the most northern point from where you are.
Okay, so continuing down the same way. Guys,
Visibly shaking my head with my 6 or 7.
I guess I'm
deception, so you
gonna
see me.
leave them
Just
because
like-
they're too busy
It's so good.
talking to each other.
Sure. Where are you going, man?
To the right, I
Yeah,
guess.
run it.
Maybe.
Show wherever you're going.
Yeah.
I'll light your path.
I'm gonna keep going this way until we get back to. So I went left. I went right.
And then,
I'm gonna go straight.
while you're there, as you start nearing the darkness, you can see where this light is pulsating from the water before you. And ahead of you, there's this clear force pulsating from above with light. And you can see each time that thud comes, you can see where it ripples directly below and forces energy out. And you can see now in the reflection this almost light cocoon of sorts
Oh,
pushing out from above the waters there.
guys.
And as you look upwards towards it, you can see that it's almost, there's like two bulbous portions kind of jutting outward and heading upwards and stabbed into a center point where it's clearly dimpled in the middle, being held to the ceiling by something protruding from it. It's almost as though this cocoon is held to the ceiling in this heart shape by what you can see now appears to be the end of a spear.
This is where that energy is coming from.
The cocoon is being held by the end of a spear.
It's being held in place by a spear, and the
heart
end
thing.
is being jutting out downward. So it's held into the ceiling, and
And the
it's
spear part.
like a reverse heart, where a spear is stabbed through the center of this cocoon.
Okay, so the part of the spear we see is just handle.
Exactly.
Okay. It's speared through the center of the cocoon into the ceiling. Okay.
This is where the energy is coming from.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Before we get ourselves into anything, any more of the thick of it, does anybody have any more New Jeff Juniors? Who has the vial of his goop?
Didn't you have one? Oh no, you used
I
it.
have the flask, which held 3 helpings, but I did use one.
No, I don't have any.
I did use mine
Or the water skin.
when we were fighting the orcs in front of the entrance of the bastion.
Well, I was just thinking this light up water has always been useful. If we want to just fill another glass with it.
What is the
Before we
light of
move on.
water useful for?
Light.
For us to see. Even those of us who can see in the dark can only see without color. We don't see well.
Well, I don't see color.
So
You don't like ordinarily?
In instances like these, sure.
I'm
They're
just like a
clearly still
moth.
sidetracked over there.
I'm just like a moth to a flame.
We have 2 people that don't see in the dark, right?
Do continue.
Who is it? Like Arlyn
Slowly
and
moving
Calagon both
forward.
don't see in the dark?
I can see in the
don't
dark.
have dark vision.
Yeah, I think it's just you and me. You don't see in the dark, right?
No,
I don't have dark
Okay, yeah.
I do
Yeah, so
see
we
the
can
light
have one
though.
for Arlyn and one for Calagon.
I have dark vision, like decently far. I think 60 feet.
Yeah,
Reach
black
out
and
and
white.
touch it.
Who had the
You're touching the
light up
cocoon or
flask?
the
Was it you? It was
spear?
you, right? Or
The
was it you?
cocoon, whatever I can touch. Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
you have light up, like you have
It's
light
pretty.
catcher, right?
It has
I
a
have
pretty
light,
glow.
yeah.
While you
Yeah,
guys
so
are
probably the
bickering back and
Yeah.
forth about who's gonna carry what, you both at the same time simultaneously look at from one another off to your side to realize Calagon's just sitting there underneath the cocoon, just reaching up.
Oh lord.
It's like,
I'm not gonna stop him.
And as he touches it, you watch as now portions of it just start to warp and slap around.
way.
And as it starts to expand, this spear shoots down from it, and instead it just expands to a point where it starts to envelop him, and you watch as Calagon just gets snatched up to the center.
This is what I was trying to do.
of this cocoon.
Calagon, no, you're not worthy.
And we're gonna take a break.
Oh man.
I was literally trying to do the flash thing and also get the emblem back that helps me defend people when they get randomly attacked like that.
I got drawn in by the pretty light.
Nice.
Very cool. All right, well, with that, we will find out a little bit more as we continue to just finish wrapping things up here for the final moments of the Four Horsemen. Back at it in 10.
All right, see you guys.
Could you believe that after everything I've done for this team, everything I've gone through, every scar on my body, every single ember that burned the flesh from my bones, Calagon takes the power. Calagon, the lizard. His tail's not even full size yet. Yet he gets to take the power from my very fingertips. The power I should be holding as the leader of the Four Horsemen. Wait till I tell Arlyn about this. He won't be pleased. He won't be pleased. I should write a song about him, ratting him out. Every bad thing he's done. Every time he's lied to us. I can't let my hatred grow. He's supposed to be a friend. He's supposed to be a friend. He's supposed to be a friend. You know, that's what my mother used to say. I used to be emotional when I was young. She told me, just hold on. Hold on to that one nugget of positivity and just repeat it. Repeat it. You are the greatest horseman. 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 One day I'll believe it.
Okay, welcome back. So, I'm very excited to see that after all this time, now Calagon, Cleave, and Rodrick have actually gone through and completed every single trial, each of the elemental trials, and then finally this final trial of the transformation bastion. Having now bypassed all that needs to be done here, they have continued while they look on at these walls, trying to figure out these engravings towards what is known as the Heart of Change. And as now it has kind of exploded forth, leaving this spear on the ground, we get to see where it actually takes on the form of a more human looking heart, and Calagon is instead pulled up into it as flashes of light start to appear from behind and within, slowly silhouetting his figure as he begins to take shape. And on the other end, where we had previously left off, Arlyn left with Tristan, the leader of the orcs. And now, having ridden off on his wyvern mount, Arlyn is getting prepped and readied to speak with the Vindril dynasty, where Tristan now looks to him and simply states,
"You must be curious why we've elected to speak to you and have you speak for us. It's simple.
Speak.
Hemlock,
Say that again.
as I know him, Hemlock has spoken so highly of you lot.
He spoke highly of us. Really?
not only that, and as he continues flapping, you can see now where this wyvern is slowly getting closer to this kind of land bridge between what almost looks like two larger masses. And as you're towering over these waters, you can see this light ripple well below coming from behind you, from the bastion. And he looks down, he just kind of pauses for a moment.
We've been looking forward to this for some time. We've been waiting for somebody to reopen it. Clearly.
And he kind of waves a hand across the sea where he points to this fleet of ships.
They won't listen to a word that I have to say. They've attacked us once before, and of their intelligence officers, we held 2 of them. One of which escaped on his own. The second was being held by Nasdaq. From what I hear, you sent him back where he belongs. For that I thank you. For that I trust you more again. You have now saved our people, freed one of our top officers, sent an ambassador to his death, rid us of the plague of Nasdaq, and showed us the truth behind him and Hogar. And you have freed the ziggurat from what had shackled it for so long. Previously, our guardian left and took every one of those founding members who had watched over the ziggurat. She only returned again once more recently. And when I saw her, she released it. She let it go.
Let what go?
Piranha.
Piranha.
And he pulls down his armor to show you where he has this massive scar reaching across his torso.
It did this to me on its way out, and since has been known as the Scourge of the Great Sea. And yet, we've not heard a single whisper of Gigi since. She vanished as though intending to let it go.
Is that the creature that powered the ziggurat?
It was. And now it's closer than ever to our allies. those in Karakor who helped us to fend off what would have been an onslaught from the Vindrel dynasty. They're the ones who helped us to actually take back our land, take those two ambassadors, as they would call them. And yet, they're now facing a similar struggle. Their creature has also been freed. It has started an uprising all its own. It is fending off all of their strongest, not only their half-giants, but the giants themselves, as unfortunate creatures have started to spawn these ant-like humanoids that have overtaken their territory, and they cannot come to our aid any longer. So it would seem that we have no allies to fight on our behalf apart from you four. And we alone will have quite a struggle fending them off ourselves. I hope you're as strong as you try to make yourselves out to seem.
I will try my best. As we've discussed, we are aligned in our ideals and our plans. It seems like you just want peace against the Vindrel dynasty. And they just won't allow it.
In truth, we may have to accept peace. But for what they've done to us,
You want revenge.
I want this world rid of such evil creatures. It only makes sense.
Get rid of the elves. I don't think they're going to take a very good liking to those words. So unfortunately, as much as that is your true desire, there will have to be some sort of middle ground that must be met. Even if it is
willing.
a boundary between your lands.
I'm willing. We will see peace. We will accept a treaty. For a time. At worst, if I do not agree with your terms, we simply turn around and do as we please anyway. I will entrust these talks to you for the time being. And as he's saying this, this massive pulse of energy just sweeps, and you can watch as these low ripples start to become waves. And he looks back. And we have our final piece. They've done it.
Is that the ziggurat?
I can feel it. The power. It's returning to our people. This will be our final talking point. Not to mention, we've been trying to recreate its effects using the fallen dragons from times past. And while Nindal has done us well, the transformations he has attempted have only led us to create monsters. Some of which we've used as precautions. Should those pointy-eared freaks try anything, should they step foot into our waters, they will meet such creatures. And this light beams out, blinding across the sky. And you can see where it just looks for a second, focusing and honing on the ziggurat from northeastward. And he says, "He's watching. From the top of the tower, he's always watching.
Who is he?
The one who sits atop the nations, the one who rules from Crestview.
crest view. Is that the final bastion?
It is. None of us dares step foot into his space except as neutral ground. And now he's honed in on us. Should that be a negative, we will see trouble. For now, simply use the bastion as our promise of power, as our defense. Even the Vindril dynasty will fear it. They must. They will not listen to me. But perhaps now especially. They may listen to you. They've heard the tales, certainly. Hogar! He would have told them. They know what we know. They know of your coming and the absorption of power. They know that those who meet at the core of its power will become something else. And I'm sure, just as we know, they are just as in the dark as we are as to what that is.
Yes.
He starts to lower, and you can tell that you guys are now reaching much closer now to this point.
I am going to internally freak out as I keep my composure.
Okay.
And I will call out to Arendor
Very good.
as the rightful one that can.
We don't know that yet.
As the rightful leader of the Four Horsemen.
No, there's still time. We haven't started the Great Sea Song yet, so...
Very true, very true.
So I close my eyes, I say, Arendor, you have placed tasks amongst the four of us. Well, I harness the leadership of the group and your thoughts. I am not your voice. Please speak through me. Help. We must come to peace. Especially if we're here for you. If the plan is to unite the kingdoms and unite the bastions, this is our first step. We have opened the first bastion. And now, let's make the first treaty.
Thank you.
Enlighten me of whether I should speak of war or not in the coming days with the dragons. As this seems like a commonality where we must all come together. And it seems like a deciding factor. But in the end, we've opened the ziggurat. Like he said. Hopefully that deters some attention. And allows me to place the proper terms. Help, please.
Instead, you just hear Toscan speaking back at you.
You sound like her. We were told that the threat of the dragons was long gone, and yet she never believed it. I worry now that the Vindril dynasty won't either. They simply want war between us. And the truth is, should that one escape from there, I'm not fast enough to catch him alone.
Well, the lineage of dragons is still alive and well. I sense them myself. And I shine my dragon eyes. as I can sense everything around me. But we choose what to do with that power. And unity is the only way if the dragons return. That is why we built the bastions, was it not?
Yes.
And yet man went at each other's throat. So then what now if dragons return? What then?
Hence why we've been trying to reopen ours. Thank you.
And now, finally lowering all the way to the land, you can see where there's this kind of brownish, orcish tent, fairly large, clearly intimidating, different bone protrusions coming from it, very reminiscent of certain architectural aspects that you've seen from this region thus far. And he just kind of lands this wyvern, and he looks to you, he says,
Hemlock. Nindal was right. Hogar was intended to speak on our behalf, but it's clear that you're more than capable as his replacement. They will not hear me, but I hope that we can count on you and that they will hear you. So speak. Not as human, not as dragon spawn, but as one who is with the Bastion.
Yes.
One who is with us. He just places a hand on your shoulder, and you can see where he just kind of like steps off onto the ground, pulls a ring with a small orcish crest of tusks coming up into your hand. They will not question whether or not you speak for me. I will take to the skies and remain close by.
Very well. And so is it like a necklace? Or
It's just a ring.
Oh, it's just a ring? Okay, so I'm going to put on that ring. I am going to be deep in my thoughts as I look at the tent. And I again close my eyes and say, Arrendor, here we go. If any way you can guide me, now would be the time. And I wait and listen for a second.
Silent as ever.
Very well. So I place my scarf over my nose and I walk in.
Alright, then, as you would expect, there's clearly like a change in the general mood as you step foot into this kind of unusual orcish tent, and stepping forward, all of the light from outside is clearly dimmed. Again, intimidating to say the least. This orcish surrounding is rough. Everything is dark. Everything is jagged. And unlike the brownish exterior, there is a much more reddened interior, reminiscent of, one could say, war paint or blood splatters, as though clearly intended as a intimidation factor here. Stepping forward, you're met with a standing figure dressed in primarily all black, and turning to you, you recognize the very familiar appearance of Ivandil Valor,
There he is.
ambassador
Oh,
to the Angel Dynasty.
it's the ambassador himself.
Ah, Arlyn.
Hello.
Welcome.
Evandil. Ambassador Evandil, if I may.
That flapping, there's not much that could move a tent of this size, and yet I seem to have recognized that it vanished. I take it he was here, wasn't he?
Are you speaking of Toscan?
That I am.
Well, he has invited me to speak for the people of Grokt as a mediation, since I also have some sort of relationship with the Vindrel dynasty, almost as a neutral. That's hilarious. I'm sorry, you just broke me.
Now we all have
Oh,
besides you.
where did that happen?
What?
I'm sorry. What a good scene that just got
Where
ruined.
in the world? I knew I was prepared. I didn't know you guys would be prepared for my preparation. What the heck just happened
Do
here?
all elves wear glasses? Is this what's going on?
I knew that he had some that every once in a while he just has like next to his stuff.
The glasses,
And
yeah.
I always keep this in my bag because I have another character that wears them. And
Nice.
so when Tristan pulled those out, I was like,
All right, let's go back.
That was crazy.
Back
And to
scene.
answer your question, both ambassadors thus far wear identical glasses.
Oh, beautiful. So this is like very
Yes.
fitting for me.
put them all back on, put them all back on.
Throw it back on. Okay. Anyways,
Continue.
so
Neutral. I
say a neutral factor in
do not
this
recall you being a neutral party. I recall last we spoke that you had just agreed upon your citizenship with the Vindrel dynasty. Is this... am I mistaken?
Well, as a neutral party, as we had discussed before, as we didn't necessarily become a part of the guild in the Vindrel dynasty.
We are not a guild, we are a nation, and a great one.
Yes.
We take pride in our members. We choose from the best of the best.
Yes.
Which, Arlyn, I believe you to be.
Well, thank you.
Of course.
I appreciate it. Well, this alliance with the orcs, I mean, you very well know that we have one of our own.
I do, yes.
And it is a new found relationship. I don't know if you feel the pulsing in the air.
I do.
Well, we have come to terms in this relationship after successfully controlling the Ziggurat Bastion. Knowing that it is a bastion that was manned by the orcs, we figured, who's more rightful and stronger and better to man the Ziggurat?
I'm so sorry, Arlyn. They may have manned it for a time, it's true. But those savages were not the ones who originally laid claim to that ziggurat. They are conquerors. They are a violent people. And he starts pulling at one of his gloves. You can see as he pulls it back, he shows you the scarred, marred hand hidden behind his gloves. They held me for a time when we came to oppose the orcs. We wanted the people to reclaim their rightful birthright. And they tortured us for it. You must understand that these are not tender creatures. They are awful.
I do understand that you guys have a difficult history, the orcs and the elves. But at the end of the day, each one is out for their own at the end of the day, right?
Perhaps in part. But we aim to spread the wealth. We aim to ensure that we can continue to spread all that we have in hopes of bringing peace to all the lands. And yet they would weaponize this. You have to understand this bastion of theirs. It wasn't supposed to be reactivated. There was a treaty long ago that kept us from reopening them.
A treaty long ago kept them closed.
Direct from Crestview.
I see.
It's not public information, nor had I intended to tell it to you. But I'd both promised you information and come here as an ambassador to speak with a fellow ambassador of which I am terribly confused, Arlyn. You must see the threat that they pose.
Do we not all pose a threat in some way?
Arlyn.
I have experienced danger within the orcs, yes. I've also experienced danger within many other creatures and races all around. I've also seen the other side of hospitality within all sides, especially coming from an adventuring background. The son of adventurers of all kinds. And so, this generalizing of all of the orcs and all of the elves, it doesn't pass. I'm sorry.
Afraid we cannot accept that, Arlyn. Not only have I been held within the capital itself, but an ally of mine, until just very recently, had been held within the outer reaches. And it is very clear that their treatment of our people has not changed since.
Well, what if there can be another treaty? Another treaty that stops it on both sides.
They just broke the last treaty with that bastion. Why should I trust another?
Oh?
You see my point. It's not an easy position, Arlyn. Those fleets are out there because of what happened last time. Should he make a move, the truth is, I would not be able to take the great Tristan in direct combat. And the truth is, we know that they want our people gone. We need to bring peace back to this region. We need to make change. They've done too much, they've killed too many. And we need to find a way...
Have you not killed any yourself?
Those who are killers, yes.
You're saying every battle, every taking of a life has been just within the Vindrel dynasty?
There are always criminals and outliers, of course. But rarely is a nation based on the principles of murder. Would you have that spread?
And if they decide to stay within their confinements and the Treaty of Peace?
That is long gone. They now have one of the 10 greatest weapons known to mankind. If we allow that to continue uninhibited for any extended amount of time, you must understand that things would change drastically, very quickly.
You see, They yet do not have full control of this bastion. A guardian has not even yet been chosen.
Are you to say that they have not unlocked its true power yet?
Oh, the ziggurat belongs to the Four Horsemen.
Well, then I suppose that simplifies things greatly. Arlyn, I consider you a friend, an ally, and a citizen of the Vindril dynasty. Our people are just outside, along this very shore. It's as I said before, I'm not enough to take him. But, with your help, I've no doubt that we could change the tide of the coming events and lead to much less bloodshed. Please.
Is there a reason why you brought a fleet of ships for a conversation?
Even a fleet of ships pales in comparison to one of the great 10 bastions of old.
Well, I understand that, except the bastion was not open before the fleet of ships arrived.
We heard some time ago that it had. We of course have scouts in every region. And while it may have only fully unlocked its potential just now, it has been open for about a week already.
Yes. Is there another kingdom that you may have an alliance with? One that you trust?
Not in particular, no.
But why is that?
Each went their separate ways about 100 years ago. Since that time, none has been especially close, to my knowledge.
Well, is there another kingdom that maybe seems as a neutral, not necessarily alliance, but a neutral relationship that you maybe are most fond of over the rest?
There is a meeting place of neutrality, this neutral zone we've spoke about in times past within the land of Crestview.
Yes.
There we can all meet freely without fear of being attacked, except by him. But that is very far from where we are today.
Correct. Now, I don't mean as a meeting place. I mean in the forms of a deal that might be of benefit to everyone. One that is trustworthy, yet not biased.
That is the only one, and I can assure you they will not side with this nation of orcs reopening one of the greatest weaponized buildings ever created. They were the ones who had us sign such a treaty. I do not believe that things are in their favor, Arlyn. You must understand this. We do not want death and destruction, we simply want peace. But there are times where the law wields its sword for good reason. Governments are intended to bring about peace, and at times through even force. You must understand this. You yourself wield many weapons, some of which I see are quite new, quite incredible, such is the power of a proper government.
Is there a land or an idea where both sides can meet in the middle?
Arlyn, we have only two. This point where we stand, and that of which I've spoken multiple times within this very conversation.
Not physically.
Not anymore. This is what we have left available to us. You must understand that. My people will continue on. Our people, Arlyn, will continue on to ensure that they do not weaponize that against us, that they do not kill countless more than they already have. Think about what it means to lead that thing into their hands. Think of the destruction, the death. You must understand.
You must forgive me, Ambassador Evandil, but I do not mean to offend. But in merely 2 conversations, I don't know if I can fully believe it would not be weaponized in your hands either. Though you may look the part.
I understand that. That is reasonable.
And so, trying to sway me 100% either way is not going to work. I have come to be a mediator.
Have they not done the same?
Oh, they have. But does that mean that I've lost all my alliance towards you? No.
I appreciate you telling me that. It tells me their true intentions.
I have come with my men to unite the 10 bastions.
There are ways to unite them without having to reopen and man all of them. We can reunite the people.
There are threats larger than men.
Threats that we have dealt with and will continue to deal with, Arlyn.
Do you?
We do. Countless monstrosities all about, and yet we've expanded our reach to every corner of Arendor. You must see that. We are the largest and most powerful for good reason. We have what it takes. Please. Choose wisely, Arlyn. Step aside. Let us do what needs to be done. Help us. Perhaps you've not been tortured personally, but perhaps you can see that there are more like me. There are others who've dealt with these same truths at their hands. What do we tell them?
Have any dealt with these truths in your hands, though?
We
I feel
try
like
not.
perspective is a very important weapon. And
So it
one
is.
that must be accounted for in this type of conversation,
Of course.
making things quite complicated.
They broke the peace treaty. They've got the greatest weapon known throughout the 10 kingdoms. They seem to have you for. They have expanded their potion trade reach. They have chemical mastery at such a level at which has poisoned countless of ours in times past. And they use their people, they give them nicknames as though they themselves were weapons. It's not It's not a hard perspective to take from my point. It's very clear. And this is simply a natural effect from what they have caused.
I understand you may never see eye to eye. It's clear you have cultural differences. It is clear that you have differences in your ideologies and what is right for the world. But unfortunately, there's no world where one of you will not exist. And so I feel a treaty must be placed that must be honored by both. Although the previous was broken. And there must be certain consequences, maybe by Crestview themselves, that will take place if one side breaks the treaty. In the end, what we need to come together versus any larger threat is unity.
I couldn't agree more.
Whether we agree or not.
Your terms were already accepted many years ago. It's those very terms that they've just broken. What now?
And how was it broken?
With the weaponization of the ziggurat.
How many years ago?
100.
This is a new generation that runs Grokt at this point.
It is not a new generation within the Vindril dynasty.
And I definitely understand that.
I hope so. You have to see that when conquerors come through and they slaughter innocent people, they claim their lands, and they take it as their own, and then they torture those who would oppose them. We do not see them as allies, and we do not see them as neutral. And I hope that you do not either. Is it safe then to assume that you'll stay here within Grokt?
The four horsemen stay within Grokt. Not permanently, no. Our mission is to unite all of the bastions. But we will be overlooking each one.
I would suggest you leave immediately then. It is in your best interest.
Is that a threat?
It is a simple reality. These people, if you can call them that, they do not belong here. Even my higher-ups are very aware of that. But I'm glad I could at least give you warning, so that you and your friends can escape safely.
Ambassador, you're making a grave mistake.
How so?
The only way that we will be able to stand strong is as one people.
And so we will be when they're
Oh.
gone.
So who's the conqueror now?
I'm very sorry that things ended up this way, Arlyn. It has been nice seeing you again. You watch as he kind of straightens himself out. Would you defend their people?
feel on these terms this unrightful conquering of another people, I would hate to say that yes, we would. They already are a species going into extinction. And although you may not be able to take Toscan one-on-one, both of us very well know that the Vindel dynasty is more powerful altogether than Grokt.
Undoubtedly.
And so, what are they but a speck in your eye?
They are a seed, a growing seed.
They are a people.
Not for long. And you watch as he reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out this, it almost sounds like beads at first, this string of tusks. And he drops them on the table at the center of this tent. And he simply says, "Those are from each of the fallen up until this very day that I have taken. Those very same ones that had taken me previously." And as he now turns about face, he puts a hand to the entryway of this tent, and he puts his back to you for this final moment where he says, "I do wish you would reconsider. Should you fight on their behalf, I can assure you there will be consequences. Not just for you, but for that poor boy that you left behind." And he lets go of the tarp and vanishes.
Arendor. This is most definitely not your will.
Back inside the cave. With this splash of a spear, you two get to look on now in surprise as this silhouetted form of Calagon Dör begins to grow, backlit by the center pulsing of this cocoon, the heart of change. And as his form starts to enlarge slightly, you can see with these pulses, as they come, the brief appearance of what appear to be wings.
What?
As now 2 tears come through, and standing before you, falling down into the water, you can see a much more muscular, much richer purple with nails like gemstones now. Protrusions much larger coming out from his head, eyes a deep glowing violet. As he now looks
First of all, I dropped
up
to my
at
knees.
you.
But I
You can tell that he's still Calagon, but his skin itself is denser. It's darker in between. His horns have grown, and he is clearly much, much more similar to a true dragon in his appearance than he was previously.
The ziggurat has chosen its true champion. Get on your knees, you fool!
Did
I put my
is
forehead to the
still
ground.
there?
Yeah?
You guys got to touch this thing.
You don't see his mouth moving as he says this. Instead, hearing it in your minds.
Let's go. I feel fantastic.
As you wish. and I finally gaze up. Lord Calagon.
Don't do that. Just
Come
touch this.
closer.
Don't touch me. Touch this.
Right. I reach up and I try to put my hand to the thing.
Okay. And in a very similar manner,
Stop.
you watch as now
I
Cleave
run and I
is
jump
taken
back.
up. And Rodrick already halfway through, torso just stuffed inside of this cocoon. Feet wiggling,
Engulfing
trying to
myself
push his way
completely.
inside. You can see now where your friends, your allies, your compatriots, these other horsemen now vanish within the heart of change. Each of you three, of course, will level up as you now take on
That's
these new abilities.
Crazy.
Calagon, in addition to growing and becoming denser, you can feel now that your draconic ancestry has taken root as you now have a base armor class of 13 plus your dexterity modifier, gaining your full telepathy and draconic resilience. At first level, it would normally be that your hit point maximum would increase by 1 and therefore increase again every time you would gain a level.
So you get 4 extra HP at the next level up.
Okay. What about the wings?
And the wings
Are they
are not
spectral or-
currently visible,
Okay.
but we'll
We'll
talk
cross
about that in a
bridge.
We'll
moment.
talk a little bit more about this telepathy.
As
Don't worry
your
about it.
other two friends now are jolted from this cocoon, you watch as they now kneeling beside you. Each of you guys looking on, you can see that Cleave has emerged a good 6 inches taller as well. His hair a little bit harder, almost a little bit more akin to a horn, a little bit more akin to like the fingernail side of that growth, where you can tell that it is sharpened. You
Keratin.
yeah.
Arlyn Keratin, let's go.
Your tusks, Cleave, are a good deal longer in addition, and while being larger, you gain powerful build, counting as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity
heck yeah.
and the weight you can push, drag, or lift. I'll send this all to you guys.
Alright, yeah.
And you gain monstrous endurance. When you're reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead.
Already has
When you do so, as a reaction, you may use 1 use of Wild Shape to take on a monstrous form instead of a beast form.
Oh, that's gonna be crazy.
That's wild.
Once
That
per
is
long rest.
Wait a
so
second.
crazy.
So when he's dropped down, he can rage to become monstrous instead.
So
Essentially.
when he's dropped down, he can become monstrous, and then if he's dropped down again, he can go back to. He's gonna come back as an orc,
Orcish.
and then if he gets dropped down again, he can come back as an orc with 1
Technically
HP.
speaking.
He's got like 3 lives. Is he a cat?
So
He's an orc.
he has to
I'm
use
sometimes.
he has to use one of
occasion.
his transformations
That too.
for that. So he can't just go back
might
and
have to make
forth.
that
He
a
does have to use one of his transformations. If you don't have one, you cannot do that.
Okay.
That's very important. But
That's what I figured.
you do also gain aggressive. As a bonus action, you can move up to your speed toward a hostile creature that you can see.
Oh, that's an orcish thing.
Let's go. Only towards. That's awesome.
And of course, the new leader.
Do me.
Do we get
Really?
more human
After
too?
this political scandal.
Wait, but when you do me, take your time. I want every detail, every nook and
Oh my
cranny.
gosh, take away stuff from him, please.
Let's take things away.
Golly.
The facade that was before you just moments prior has instead been washed away with these bioluminescent waters. As you can see the water visibly dripping from every luscious strand of the now more than ever golden, longer hair
My hair came back
of
longer?
the full-forced, full-faced Rodrick, Elwood, now sharper features, longer ears, dull glowing green eyes, almost slitted to be somewhat cat-like, visibly taking in the world in a new light, slightly elongated, and almost a touch more elegant yet feral at the same time. And as he stands too, he resembles not just an elf a little bit more, but the Fae of old.
Whoa.
As his mouth opens to speak for the first time, Rodrick, you recognize that your canines are also elongated. You currently have retractable claws.
What?
Gaining not only the ability to deal a D6, I believe it was, let me double check,
So he's Wolverine.
of slashing damage,
He's a kitty cat.
but you also gain a climbing speed equal to your running speed.
What?
In addition to that, you gain the ability to trance as an elf would.
What? That's
And
dope.
with
'cause they took
keen
that away.
senses, you now gain, because I believe you already have perception, expertise in perception.
Huh, what does expertise mean?
It means that you double your proficiency bonus.
Can he sing better now?
You also get advantage on grapples with your bare hands.
You have built-in auto-tune.
He does now. And so, standing there, the three of you guys can feel as this power surges through you, and you can tell that this heartbeat is going faster and faster, as though excited at your growth. As of course, again, each of you guys will level up in addition, absorbing it now and seeing the murals of man and dragon. And in this moment, you recognize more than ever that each of you, having come from a different lineage, being still of man, are able uniquely to stand within this bastion as man, and yet this bastion was intended to affect dragons. And so you are slowly sapping the energy from it, draining its power into yourselves and funneling it between you lot. And you can feel the power of this bastion as though it's traveling with you to some extent as you continue on your journey, which we will pick back up on next year.
Cool, high five.
Next year.
Whoa.
Wow.
I only
What?
have one thing to say.
I'm angry.
Wow.
I was curious how you would take that one. But I
Well, I
love the
think my
idea
spicy
that
good berries
Fae
is
are
2.2 or
always
whatever.
actually a little bit more
Spicy
feral
good berries?
and in tune with the wilds. And you don't get to see that part of the elvish ancestry much.
Yeah.
And so I was really excited to see as you start to take shape into that a little bit more, where you're now a little bit leaner, sharper featured, longer ears, brighter eyed, longer golden hair, and oh, the scarring now would still be there, but as that same dull glow instead.
So is he just an Eladrin now?
Essentially,
beautiful.
he's very, very similar.
I'm beautiful.
And I'm more of a dragon
Yes.
than I was before.
So each of
You're
you
a
guys
Jasmine.
That's
are
already-
He's a
now
Jasmine, you're
taking
Jasmine.
on
I'm a Jasmine.
other aspects.
And all I got was war.
Arlyn started a war. Whee!
Great.
You should have killed him where he's.
Yeah. For next season, I'm gonna give Manny a shirt that says
So good.
I started a war and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Ah, that
great.
was brutal in its own ways. I was so curious to see which you would side with. I tried so hard to fight on his behalf to be like, listen, dude, I was tortured. We're allies. You're one of our people. You don't know these guys. Like, come on. But
Wow.
a fun turn
So
of events
yeah,
there.
I mean, unfortunately, that is not our calling.
Cool.
Our
I love
calling
it.
is to side with all, and to understand the positives and negatives of all people, and understand that that may cause some war.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say.
Well, now we're gonna use the Bastion
We'll
against the
see.
Vigil
I was gonna
Dynasty.
say, yeah. We'll see what happens. He definitely clearly portrayed the fact that you guys left Rumgar behind. He took advantage of that.
Just because we're bad parents doesn't.
Wait, hold on.
make
We're doing
us-
inside check stuff. I have some stuff to say on this, but
Yeah, no,
but,
what you got?
Wait. Oh,
Run
no,
it,
wait,
man.
no, we're not doing inside. Just wait too. No, that's Butcher.
That is Butcher.
That's Butcher, and you should have killed him. We gotta.
That
kill
is
him.
Butcher.
He's not an ambassador. He's a conqueror. We gotta that.
Yeah.
No way.
But
You guys have now officially met.
Arlyn
the
wouldn't
Butcher
have-
of
I would
Buttermilk.
have thrown that
full
diss in his
connection.
face at the
That's
very least. Though.
crazy
I would have
that
been like,
he was
you're no ambassador.
there the whole
That would have
time.
been good.
Yeah.
You have no
Want to know what's
interest
crazy?
in ambassadizing.
Want to know what's crazy? What? I've known Yvonne Deal was Butcher from
What?
the beginning of the whole entire campaign.
Why?
Because DMs talk.
We had to work some stuff
The
out
first
early
picture
on.
I saw of Yvonne Deal had the scar. And the one you guys saw didn't. They had the gloves.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm
And I was
glad you
just
didn't
like,
make
when
it.
he showed
So
Yvonne
much of
Deal,
this has
I just had
been-
to be like,
Just
yeah.
Fest
So
This
it
from the
all
start.
works out. It works out that you were the one that went back to Grokt, and
That was good.
Yeah.
it all pans out.
Essentially, I guess, but I can't metagame, so I can't be
so
like,
you guys
you're
have
Butcher.
chosen a side.
Lightning.
Whether or not the rest of you guys knows it or not, you guys have chosen a side, but that side has now warned you guys against fighting in the oncoming war. If you do, there will be at least one guaranteed casualty.
Rumgar?
Rumgar myself to kill that guy. I'm just kidding.
That was not Cleave talking
Oh,
right
man, it's so good. I love it. That was,
No, I want to kill him
that
to
was a ton
avenge
of fun,
Rumgar's
guys.
family. No, I don't.
That was a ton of
he's
fun.
gonna be
Oh
safe.
no! See, that's the thing, though. I guess we could do like a mini wrap up inside check. And we obviously can't discuss the entire thing. But we
Yeah.
also can't do it next week because
we're
Tristan
doing
might
so
have
much,
a baby
man,
at
we
that
don't have
point.
How
Like,
about we do like
Yeah.
we do it
All right,
over
well,
the
sorry.
phone?
Yeah, too many
I
variables.
guess if
Sorry
we're
about all
doing
that.
it.
Hey!
No, and like
I'm
a
so
mini
for it.
like
I'd be all
you know,
about it.
Basically, just
Gotta be super quick then.
really candid, quick
10-minute inside
conversations.
check, let's
You
go.
know what I mean?
Everybody roll inside check.
We still have to do Devo too.
It's a 7.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing though, is like being in Arlyn's shoes and like not wanting to start a war essentially, knowing that if he killed Yvonne Deal right then and there, it would have inevitably started a war. Like, period.
I
you know?
love
No, you don't
giving
know
you
that.
the
Kill them,
option
that's fine.
to literally start a fight with them there instead. So the options, obviously, like you can choose a side. There were, fun fact, ways there could have technically been a treaty.
There's no
had
freaking way.
you said a certain few things actually in that
I mean, obviously
time.
that's
First of all,
done now.
you didn't
Can
even-
you say them?
You didn't even say that we were the ones that did it, did you?
What?
he,
Open the bastion?
Yeah.
Yes.
he
I
did in part, and he kind of like
The 4 horsemen.
pulled
only.
into that.
Is it
Yeah,
a-
at some point within that.
No, but you kind of like you aligned us with the orcs in doing that. So that
Yeah.
so that makes them the ones who perpetrated
Yes.
the breach of the
Yeah.
treaty.
So you didn't state
when
that
in
they.
fact you went there
Yep.
originally having been like ambassadors of his nation. If you would
Yep.
have framed it that way, I think we would have been in a different
Exactly right.
situation.
Exactly right.
But unfortunately,
But that's all right.
creating a treaty with then the orcs would have been no way. Because Toscan himself told me, he goes, if I don't like the terms of this treaty, I will turn around and we will do whatever we want.
oh yeah.
And
for
so,
sure.
like, there was no winning either side. Tristan loves to do that.
so good.
And he picked the right one to do it, right? If it was Rodrick,
There were a ton of
Yeah,
options.
I was
There
just about
were
to
a
say
ton of
that.
options because again, you
this
could have
was a
literally
Rodrick
fought
and
one of
Cleave
them
mission,
in that moment with the
We would
other.
have claimed
Yeah.
to be on his side.
Or you could have just left
and
it
then
as
we
you
would
did and
have
chosen a side.
triumphantly walked him right into the bastion where we kill him. That's where that
That would have been
That would have
baller.
been the move right there.
Yeah, for sure an
That would have
option.
been for sure.
Yeah. There were a ton of ways
What?
that technically could have gone, but man, was that good.
I mean, the conversation's done. Could you, like...
He has
Give
Rumgar's
us
parents' teeth
insight?
on it. And
He
then
has
just showed you.
Rumgar's parents' teeth. You now have Rumgar's parents' teeth on a necklace within Grokt.
Yeah.
Ah, that guy's a bold guy. He's
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
a tough cookie. Not as tough as Toscan, so that's good. but his nation that's backing him is, and you didn't choose to take him down in that moment, which is potentially problematic.
We leveled up. We got this.
Yeah, it's true. No, you guys got a ton of
You
power-ups,
leveled up.
but
That was
again,
incredible.
You
That was
will.
we've
crazy.
seen now where those
Oh my
bastions are more powerful for you guys specifically than anyone throughout the entire history of this nation. And so you guys have a unique potential here to shape the history of Arrendor. Hence, the Four Horsemen. And hence, why I will be, of course, telling these guys all about the cave walls and all the drawings there, and we may release tidbits here and there, and kind of, maybe we'll do that as kind of like a precursor to the next season.
Yeah, we could.
As we
That'd be
start to
cool.
bring
We
in
could.
information, maybe we'll release some of it now. Who's to say? But yeah, super excited for everybody to really find out what's been going on all along, as they now have fully unearthed a lot of these secrets and taken its power for their own. So yeah, great job, guys. Great job, David. Freaking handling the big
Literally
boss.
single-handedly taking down the Bastion.
And
to be honest.
becoming a whole new Fate-touched kind of being.
Yeah,
Who
now I'm a
knows what
kitty.
the heck you guys are at
Crazy.
this point?
All that stuff just to be a cat.
Just
Just
to
to
be
listen.
a cat.
We all know
Listen.
that everybody wants to be
Honestly,
a
your
cat.
personality
Yeah.
and cats are like,
Spot on, yeah, for sure.
The same.
Rodrick has been a cat from the start.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen.
super loving, super affectionate for a split second, and then he turns around and attacks you,
Yep,
or
yep.
you know, hates on the fact that you're getting power and he's not, or you know, monologues for
yeah, I
like
mean-
4 minutes during our you know,
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah. No, listen, this whole season's been crazy. I think from the starting point of us in Manshire and in that cliff to where we're at now has been a crazy story. It's been a
Ton
crazy
of fun.
story.
Wild.
And we've only touched base on the first Bastion.
But
We've only
you guys have
just
seen now
begun.
2 level ups plus a slew of items and abilities that have
Correct.
come from this one
Well.
bastion. So,
Yes.
with that being said, obviously you guys have
three
the potential
level
to
ups
just
for them,
go
you know.
straight through. You guys can jump bastion to bastion, or you guys can take part in a war. And I leave that entirely up to you guys.
What do you think?
It's terrifying.
What do you
Yeah,
leaning?
leader. Or
What are you
other leader,
leaning
whichever, you know.
This is
Both
the
count, right?
so this is the kind of situation where Rodrick says, "Me, leader?
I don't know.
Arlyn's alive."
I think I could have taken on that conversation to a whole
Oh, the
different
conversation.
place.
Yes, I agree. But the moment there's war, don't think you'd be the
You
first
don't think I
one
could
in
stay on the
line.
front lines of war?
Now you can probably.
I'm a kitty, dude.
I'm a kid cat.
He's gonna hold that over me until January.
I love how
So-
you told Cleave, you're like, what are you, a cat? You got 9 lives? And then you're actually now a cat.
Actually,
no.
you're a cat.
That is so.
Actually, you're a cat.
I was gonna say, if you remember, each of the creatures that you guys saw within the caves the first time around were an elemental, a dragon, a monster, and a unicorn. So you
Right.
always were of the noble beast variety.
Huh.
Yes,
So
yes.
in
Has
a
been there
way,
Unicorn.
from the start.
And I'm
I'm the
adding to so
most-
much of the Fae lore in the next campaign.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
So, yeah,
I love.
I
Fae.
love the Fae.
So I'm
yeah,
happy
the
about
idea that there's like this human hierarchy over all the like Fae animals, if you will, and like the Fae beings of that other world. Like, oh, I love getting to see like Rodrick in his nonsense now pushed to a new level, both in like mastery over like the powerful side of it, and like now the groundedness of the primal, like I was gonna say cat side, but you know,
Cat,
just like
feline.
animalistic side of it, where you are now like stronger, more capable in like so many ways. So like I'm so excited to see how you pull that together with your new level up.
no, it's
That would be
honestly, I
awesome.
think it's gonna be amazing. I'm just super happy for Roderick to be back.
Yeah.
And back better than ever, baby. Bigger, longer, slenderer. Some would say.
More beautiful.
Some would say sexier.
We're like Pokemon. Sexy.
than ever.
I love it.
Oh no!
I love
well, it's been an amazing season. Been an amazing season. 40 episodes to the dot
Heck
of the
yeah.
Four Horsemen.
Guys.
Should we
We
give it up
still
for Tristan?
don't have horses.
Aw.
Yeah.
Can we
Give it up for
please give it up for Tristan?
For being an amazing
Please,
DM,
let's give it up for
creating an
Tristan.
awesome story.
The story is captivating. Even those like suspenseful conversations, you do
Missed
them a
out
lot better
on
than I
allying with the Vindrel Dynasty, though. There were more props.
do. Oh well.
Save him. That we could definitely use
The
that. on
last
logo.
thing I would want to
When
do
you kill him,
is
you know?
kill off an entire race in Cleave's eyes.
Yeah, that would have been terrifying. Cleave now with his new monstrous benefits, he would have for sure turned into a monster at
Oh,
that
right
point.
there, yeah.
You'd be
for sure.
done.
I 100% would have been dead.
Cleve, do you think that
Maybe not by anybody else except Cleave.
Do you think you would have turned on us now with the way that you're being now, where you don't make as many decisions and stuff like that? Do you think you would have actually that would have been the line for you?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think okay, all right, hold on. I have so many personality traits that I wrote into him that I try to like keep at the forefront of my mind all the time. One of them currently is the idea that he just like follows you guys like really hard. But the other one that would be at play there would be, I won't put it in like the funny way that I had on there, but basically like whenever he has been wronged in some kind of way, his usual move is to keep that quiet for a second. Unless it's emergency situation, right? Unless like everything's happening right now. Usually he will try to keep that quiet and then obliterate them at like their weakest point, like when they don't expect it. He's usually a little more conniving in that way. But shoot, if he had just gotten the monster powers and all that stuff too, I don't know. I think that might have played very very Hulk-like in that moment.
I'm excited to see what like lower CR monsters we can find at the start, and then into later in the campaign, what in the world that means for what I have to deal
I think
with.
I can already become that water dinosaur now, because at level 4 I also get the ability to become creatures with swim speeds.
Ooh.
So
Let's see
and
what the heck
it's
happens.
now because I'm level 4. It's and Circle of the Moon, which is amazing. It's my level divided by 2, so now I'm also up to CR2 creatures. So this is, and they can be monsters apparently.
I think that one was
This is
CR4.
crazy.
I think that one was CR4.
Was that a CR? That,
Yeah, I think
okay,
that
okay.
one was like a whole big scary one, but you guys were fighting with an aboleth on your side, so
yeah.
things like CR9.
Crazy.
Spars goes, so at this rate, you'll hit all the
Craziness.
bastions in 100 more episodes? I go,
Yes.
more like
Maybe.
320.
Maybe
There's 8 of them.
That's true.
I was gonna
40
say,
episodes per bastion.
You guys, this guy's got who knows, shadow wings? I don't know. You guys
We can move
are
a lot
dealing
better
with a
now,
bunch of
yeah.
ships. You guys
I mean-
have a ton of new powers
I've
at level
always been able
4.
to-
And you know that getting to these bastions means instant level ups,
Yeah.
basically. So that's
Not for me.
huge.
That is if I make it inside.
That's huge. And you're much stronger and more capable of dealing with said bastions. So
Nah, that's so
it
dope.
shouldn't be as nearly as much of a task.
Yeah, no, for
henceforth.
sure. No,
So,
well, season
that
1's
should be
been
cool.
amazing. Season 1 has been so good. But it's coming to a close.
Oh yeah, no, that's that.
Season
next
2
time,
is going to be
next
bigger,
time we're here,
more intense. We're going to make some changes.
show him how much better it's gonna be.
well,
Come on,
no,
come
I'm
on,
talking
come
about
on.
season 2 just now.
Oh, just for this stuff. Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
in
yeah.
the meantime,
Yeah, for sure. We're pretty hyped about this next one.
We are super
I'm so
hyped.
excited. Listen, I've just been warming this seat for Manny. I'm so excited to get him in the DM chair. He's gonna kill it. He already has in times past. We've gotten to experience so much, and honestly, the growth of our friendship has been because we
Yeah.
were both DMing stuff.
Oh yeah,
and
from the
bouncing
beginning, it
ideas
was
off
literally
each
like,
other.
"Hey, I need help," and
Yep.
then we were just on the phone bouncing random DM ideas, and so it's been phenomenal being able to build this world together. Like,
Yep.
love
been
it.
awesome.
I love it.
Been awesome.
So
Do it.
on
do
to
it.
the next
Come on,
thing.
show us
Hold on,
the
wait.
thing.
I think I might have to change the
Oh,
music.
true.
for
Yeah, we gotta
this.
change the tone entirely.
I gotta change the tone. Hold on.
That's baller.
Nah, nice. I like that.
In 2 weeks. Next week, we will not have an episode because we will be here recording and prepping for campaign number 2, the Great Sea Song.
The 4 Sea Horsemen.
The 4 Sea Horsemen. And so, in 2 weeks, we are starting campaign number 2. And I might do things a little bit different.
Heck yeah.
A little bit different. So for a little while, Tristan's gonna have a baby, so he will not be with us. But even when he returns, he will come back as a player for the time being until we finish off this arc of the Great Sea Song, basically when the new year comes. But aside from fully digital maps, I just thought it'd be a little bit fun if we did some hybrid stuff. We'll still have the full digital tokens and everything for like the stream to be able to see it better. But I think it's a little immersive if at times we pull some props, right?
Yeah.
And so I have this coming in this next campaign. Check this out.
Look at this.
I'm
Look
so
at this. He already
hyped.
showed
We're
us.
all coming with so many props for this next one. I've already got like 42 somehow, and more than I've ever done as DM. But Manny has definitely shown me up with this butte right here.
Look at, buddy. Oh my gosh, that thing is awesome.
He printed out like 42 cannons or something like that to go with this thing. We're gonna have full custom minis set for all of it.
Oh, actually,
We're getting hype. Oh yeah, and it's full
right
glory.
next to.
Yeah, just hide it behind David there.
You're putting it
There
behind
you
me?
go. There you go. Wow, he's the first one in the new campaign. Look at him go! Look at him go!
He's doing
Wait, hold on.
We've elected our captain.
No, give me a second.
Wait.
He truly is the captain now.
Look at me, I'm at the head of the ship.
By the way,
Oh my gosh.
David is on green screen right now just so that
Look at me, I'm in a window.
he can still run production while Hobby's out.
In a window, good, yeah.
What are we doing?
Let's screenshot that one.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
So he's just having fun with this thing. But
Oh, man,
what's
this is gonna
cool
be a
is
wild
the
campaign.
ship is fully modular, meaning they could enter any room. There are about 32 portholes with manned cannons that they can move around and so on and so forth. I will be introducing a brand new system. I didn't make it up. I will be shouting out the creators during the campaign, but is a whole new system of handling ships, ship combat,
That's
learning how to
dope.
sail. Basically, you have to man a crew because obviously 4 people can't man a galleon like this, right?
That's awesome.
And so
Everyone take simulacrum quick.
yeah,
An
a lot of
unseen servant.
simulacrum. So you need like a certain amount of people to be able to like effectively man the ship.
Yeah, we're just the band, man.
And things like that. So it's gonna be pretty cool, and it does that all without making it as complicated as D&D makes ships. You know,
Nice.
And so I'll be like giving them the rundown on how it's gonna work and everything. But I guess a little preview of the Great Sea Song. There's a whole side of obvious, new continent, new peoples, new society and kingdoms. But there is also the element of pirate society that we will also run into. That basically they run the entirety of the Great Sea, which is, if you look at our world map, I don't know if sometimes it pops up, it is the central massive sea inside of the world of Allura, right? And so around it, there are 4 major kings and 4 lower kings, each having 3 to 5 lords, pirate lords, not counting the basic pirate crews that will be encountering random pillaging, right? And so there's an entire society and political system just for pirates themselves that I'm super excited. So what I have given them thus far is they are going to be 4 bards taking on this journey. And They will be level 3, even though they were like, well, I wanted to start at level 1,
3 is
right? But they will be level 3 so that we can get through it a little bit faster, since it is going to be an expedited campaign for the most part, not as long as the 4 Horsemen. But they've each received a letter to board the Silurian ship, the Vessel of the Sea. The most beautiful ship that welcomes guests of stature and of art and lords and so on and so forth. And they have been invited to be the main court performers, the best of the best around Mervin's Point. Invited to perform for the captain herself on the Silurian on the night of departure for a great voyage. That is all they know. That is all they know. And we will see what happens when they board. Now, not all of them will know each other. And they'll come from various backgrounds, various different races. I mean, Joel, you were talking about how your character is a
straight up leprechaun.
A leprechaun. So that's gonna be amazing. I've never seen a leprechaun in D&D, like a legit one.
It's
so.
just basically like an adjusted halfling. It's not gonna
Still,
change that much, but it's like,
isn't every homebrew
thematically
thing
it's so awesome.
just an
Yeah.
adjusted something, right? And so it's gonna be a homebrew race in Allura of leprechauns. It's gonna be awesome.
You're gonna look like.
I'm for it. Yeah.
And so their first mission is, they wanted a bard campaign, so I'm going to give them a bard campaign. Their first mission is that they must perform a great performance on the night of the voyage. Night of departure for
I finally started working on mine. I'm pretty happy with what I got so far. But
Captain Elverell Duskmore herself.
Ooh,
Separately or all together?
All together.
Oh, never mind. I got that.
Yeah.
All together. I mean, doesn't mean you're not going to have separate performances, right?
I definitely cannot be front man because we don't know that I'll be there.
Correct.
Not for that song, at least.
He might get seasick or something, you know?
Yeah,
Throwing up in his room or whatever. So, I am so stoked. I'm also equally terrified.
Yeah,
Equally
it's gonna be
terrified
wild.
to
We're
be
gonna
on the
make it
DM
wild.
chair. But I'm excited to finally do something that I've always kind of wanted to do in D&D, and it's basically be, in the seas, like do a nautical pirate sailing type of campaign and what that would look like. And not only that, but we're going to be probably seeing a lot more of Allura than the 4 Horsemen do by foot, and so I have to create different biomes and different areas and islands or anything. And yeah, so next week we will not be streaming because we have a new theme song. We're going to have a new opener for this campaign. We are making new voiceovers for our new characters. We're creating artwork. We're doing whatever we need to make it equally as fun as the 4 Horsemen in a completely different way. So
No, that's
hope
gonna be
you
more
guys
fun.
join
It's
us.
gonna be- we're playing entertainers. We're
Yeah,
entertainers.
They're
it's gonna be-
literally
it's gonna be way
bards.
more-
It's
it's gonna be way more fun
Y'all are
than
either
wild
gonna
kinda
love
way.
it or you're gonna hate it. Like, let's be completely honest. He put himself in the window of the ship. Even on your scene.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, that's the scene for us. Oh my goodness.
So
He's on your shoulder.
you'll either
There'll be that energy all the
man,
time.
I've told the
fire.
premise to certain friends that love D&D, and some of them are like, "Yo, this is gonna be sick," and then some others are like, 4 bards, 4 bards in a campaign.
And we will have
I'm
so many loud
terrified.
instruments. We're coming
Oh,
with
we have so
all
many instruments.
of the
Oh,
loud
Oh
instruments.
yeah, I'm hoping they come with real instruments.
Oh,
and
I have
all
so
of it.
many fun little surprises already, and I'm
I
just a player.
I gotta warn my neighbors.
Yeah,
It's gonna be great.
I mean, nothing's gonna be plugged in. It's not gonna be that crazy,
Violins.
Rah.
Sure, yeah, sure.
We'll see about that one.
Anyways, yeah, that is going to be super fun and very different from our usual stuff. But stay tuned, and we'll embark on a brand new adventure. So now, this will be our segue to our divine
10th
inspiration.
commandment.
And final commandment.
The 10th commandment in the 10 Commandments, right?
That's right. We're there. We made it. This is closing out beautifully. This is our
Yes,
40th
it is.
episode.
I love
10th
Literal, the
commandment.
40th episode, like right perfect, like so good. So good.
All 3 out of 4 horsemen having their crazy level ups.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
I did say last week that I had to bully the new DM who's coming in. So,
legit.
had to throw that little punch in there, you know.
Not
Don't
a
worry,
fan of
you'll
that.
make it there. You'll make it there
Yeah.
for sure.
Late.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually love. It doesn't happen often enough where people level up at different speeds. I do enjoy that as a not even just for like a lot of people do it only when they do like XP adventures. I think that can have its downsides, but the idea that people are leveling up at different speeds is just fun for the story.
well,
I would have in a heartbeat been the odd man out if it meant just
Yeah.
this happening for sure.
It is a fun concept that there's one outlier, but I cannot tell you guys how perfectly this mapped out without my leading to that, because all that ties perfectly into how we're going to get to start the next season so beautifully.
wow.
So
obviously, it's starting with a war, so that's great.
it's gonna be
Perfect.
Starting with a bang.
Oh, no.
Literally.
Next season's gonna go off way faster, way harder, way bigger than this season ever could have.
We're also going to introduce a lot more stuff, even in the overlay and the actual show itself. So
Yeah,
excited
very true.
about that.
Very true. We've been
Excited about that.
we've been toying with stuff, as you can see by David flying around everywhere. The green screen was a clear threat to every bit of
Yeah.
seriousness for this stream, because that's all gone now.
and luckily we level by milestone, so I'm sure I'll catch up eventually.
Oh yeah, that's no problem.
So, anyways, Joel, can you lead us into the 10th commandment?
All right, so we are in
please?
Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. I'll give anybody that wants to look it up a second to pull it up.
Ah, there it
Oh
is.
man, that's good stuff.
What was it again? Exodus
20, 17.
I've got it.
Anybody else want to physically read it? Because I
I'll do
have
it.
plenty
Ah,
to say
even
about
better.
it.
So
Speaker.
it says, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor."
Beautiful.
So this is the whole keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing?
I wish I
Oh,
understood
wow.
that reference. I got nothing on that
No.
one.
Yeah.
Well, the Joneses are the nicer car, a nicer house, you know, nicer wife, and it's just the idea that always
phrase.
wanting to keep up with them and have the nice things like they have, and pretty much instead of thinking about material things instead of things that actually matter that you have that you should be valuing,
Yeah.
you know, more instead.
I would,
Well, it's interesting.
Well, I was going to say, if we are meant to have a heart of gratitude towards the things that we receive
Yeah.
from the Lord and the blessings that we have, how can that exist at the same time where we covet
Yeah.
Yep.
things maybe meant for somebody else? Coveting even the blessings meant for other people. You know, for any particular reason why God chose to give those things or put other people in a certain situation that maybe you think or you've been praying for example, and then somebody else gets it.
Yeah.
You know,
How very Four
there's-
Horsemen of a lesson is that?
Right? Yeah.
That's really good.
Oh, Rodrick
Yeah.
definitely
Our
covets.
characters.
Once these guys
Four
start
Horsemen.
studying their Bibles that they now have,
Yeah, true.
they'll start learning.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean,
They've got some
tying
downtime
it back,
down there.
Arlyn's probably. I mean, he's been coveting the fact that, you know,
I think
he didn't
every one
he
of
didn't
you
make it
four-
into the Bastion. You know, I think a lot of people were coveting all the stuff that Arlyn was getting throughout the
Yeah.
way. So
Rodrick was pretty clearly.
I genuinely think Cleave has not.
Wow.
Cleave.
That's great.
Not to say that I don't look at stuff, but man, that was dope. you know?
Yeah.
but like, but I think in character, he really is just trying to give.
yeah,
Good
I
for
think
you
we
giving away the
saw
coolest item ever.
we saw
love it.
Calagon
I love it
go
so
through that with him with Arlyn getting all the stuff, and you know, before the death and everything, he was pretty jealous of what you had, and everything was going right for you. And
Listen,
then it wasn't
you
until
know.
pretty much near-death experience a couple times till Calagon even noticed, like, what I have is special, what I am is special. We're all special in our own way, and instead of always worrying about being the best or being, the leader, life is just so much better when you appreciate what you have and use that with everybody else's advantages to get through.
Not only that, you see the
everything.
strengths in what you have too. Like, I feel like you only focus on the weaknesses when you're just coveting the next thing, right?
Yeah.
You don't really use your blessings to their full potential, because you don't appreciate what you have.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's in real life and in the game.
That's what I was gonna say, man.
You know?
Overarchingly, for people who don't, if we could make this a clip one day, man, for people who don't play role-playing games, if you don't understand the value of this versus just playing like cards,
Yeah.
it's just like you don't get that. You don't get that.
No.
You're pulling life lessons and learning how to empathize with people and problem solve and actually acknowledge emotional issues and wrongdoings and sin, and actually trying to work through them and saying like, how does that affect the world around us? Even when we're having a good time with it, even when we're enjoying doing crazy maniacal evil stuff, you still see how that destroys, how that just wreaks havoc in everybody's lives.
Correct. It
It's
affects
such
everything.
a great
Yeah.
learning experience, just as a almost entirely consequence-free environment.
Yeah. True. I mean,
You can hurt friendships though. You got to be careful sometimes at the tea table. If you've never done it
Sometimes you
before,
do.
you can.
Sometimes you
It
do.
can happen. Hopefully you don't allow it to. I'm gonna really fast hit my overarching point here with this. Man, I've been talking a lot about how this was kind of inspired by Jesus talking about the two greatest commandments, right?
Yeah.
The
God, love
Pharisees come
people.
and they ask, right, what is the greatest of all commandments? And he's essentially the phrase that's become really popularized, love God, and then he says the second one, there's another one that's like that, love people. In these two commandments, all of the law is encapsulated, right? So when you start at commandment number one was, thou shalt not, higher up, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Very short, simple, sweet to the point. And as we've been talking about throughout the weeks, it kind of gradually moves closer and closer towards the love people. That's the purest love God. Put no other God before you. Have one. He's the one. Have no other one before me. And everything else sort of bleeds into. Finally, this one. This is the purest. Love your neighbor. This is when we talked about what stealing could mean and how that could also involve lying and how bearing false witness destroys your neighbors. But a lot of that stuff still had a lot of footprint, and really they all do, in God's domain. This is the purest form of,
That is true.
do not step on your neighbor's domain. This is the purest. You do not covet his house. And we were saying stuff that doesn't matter, but some of this does matter. Don't covet his wife. That is a very important blessing that he has. And we know some biblical characters have stepped on that and to horrific detriment. Manservant, maidservant, his ox, his donkey, anything that is in his house. This is an indictment of anyone who would put themselves before any man at all. And it's just the true essence of, if you loved your neighbor, you would not ever, no matter how blessed he is, want to look at what he has and say that should be mine.
Yeah.
I should take that. I don't know. I guess that's all I want to throw to that. It's just
No, I love that.
deadly a deadly sin. Not one of the seven. Well, no, yes, it is. Envy, yeah.
Yeah.
It is a deadly sin.
Yeah.
I don't know who said it, but comparison is the thief of joy, I think is the saying. And that rings true. Once you start treating random people like your brother and sisters in Christ, life is just so much better.
It's freeing.
When you're happy
Yeah.
that other people are happy and have things, and not always looking internally and what you have or what you don't have. So for sure.
And I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole. I feel like even the world adopting social media as a standard is a tactic of the enemy to infuse a lot of this, right? The coveting part.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Everyone posting
Which,
all the good things and never
it's
posting anything
correct.
bad.
And what that does, aside from creating animosity, right? aside from creating, jealousy and things like that, right, and envy, it creates self-deprecation as well, right? And I mean, we're living in society now, especially this younger generation, that is drowning in depression and anxiety and all of that. And a lot of that is probably seeded from all the comparison that is glamorized.
Oh yeah.
Right? In like our society nowadays, especially like in the younger generation, right?
Well, the term that I said, keeping up with the Joneses, used to mean like literally your neighbor down the road, and now it's
Everybody
every
around the
single person
world.
that you're friends with on Facebook or Instagram, anything that shows up, all the ads and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Joneses are now not just a person that lives down the road with a nicer house. It's every single person that you interact with on social media.
Oh wow.
That's interesting because when again, I believe the Pharisees came and tried to like corner Jesus in his speech when he was saying to love thy neighbor. They're like, well, who is my neighbor, right? And he tells a whole parable of the Good Samaritan. But the sort of message there is like your neighbor is in life going to expand out way past your literal neighborhood. And it's almost like it was almost like prophetic there, where it's
Crazy.
like that's the obvious reality now. We actually are there.
You
That's
turn on your phone.
Yep.
And you're
And suddenly somebody's
seeing
next
someone
to you.
across the world,
Yep.
and they're
Yeah.
right next. Yeah, correct. And not only that, you can communicate with them. It's not
Yeah.
just that you're seeing. Now you can communicate, and everybody posts the pretty stuff, right? And so we tend to create different ideologies that are just rooted in like against the commandments that Christ gave us, right? To not covet, to not have lust, to not, like all of this stuff has been like encapsulated in one place.
Yeah.
Right? And so again, I'm not against phones. I'm not against social media, right?
This table's against my phone.
Yeah,
all
the
the time.
table's against your phone. I'm not
That's
against,
been since
obviously, I'm not
session
against
one.
that. But I think it's important to realize that how we use these things, right, could easily affect us in a way that's going against the commandments that God gave us to do. And like so easily and seamlessly. That's the scariest part, is how seamless it is
Yeah,
now.
it's just-
right?
yeah.
Like how seamless. It's a scroll
Yeah.
Yeah.
and something's activated, right? And so we just got to be careful with our thoughts and our eyes and our minds and our hearts, right? Above all else, guard your heart.
Yeah.
And in all that we do, try and make sure that we're trying our best to glorify God. And I mean, that alone, I feel like, would combat the detriment of anxiety and depression that we're plagued with, nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's hard to escape. It's hard to escape it, or to dodge it, I guess. It's hard to dodge it at times.
I mean, that's what is the? I'm gonna butcher my armor of God right now, but it's the boots
Breastplate.
of right.
The breastplate of righteousness, right?
Boots of what are the boots?
Boots.
The spirit of peace. It's the you're
Fruits of the
supposed to-
spirit you're talking about?
It's essentially, so it's like strap on the boots or the sandals of the spirit of peace. Always,
Well, I had like
blanking on
honestly like a
phraseology
youth
here.
pastor, like when I was a kid, talk about that portion, just like talking about how it's like that's for very often, not entirely, but for like fleeing, like sometimes to protect if it's your peace. Like you gotta leave. You have to escape it. That's like kind of what you're talking
Sure.
about. It's like you gotta go. You can't.
For sure.
It's not all about fighting
Yeah.
every single battle. Sometimes the fight is a retreat. Like you
Is
aren't
leaving. Yeah.
capable of defeating sin on your own. You
Yep.
can't do that.
yeah, that's
Yep.
good.
And Spars brought up a great point just now.
always does, killing it.
He said, essentially, I'm going to reword it in a way, but this has been a sin, or, the commandment that we have been dealing with from the beginning of time.
Oh yeah.
From, like he said, from the
first two
garden.
scenes where yeah.
From the garden. I mean, it's as simple. I'm just going to read his comment. It feels a lot like back in the garden. The feeling like what God has provided for me is not enough. I need more. Need more. Right? And
not only that, the comparison was to the only neighbor they had, which was God.
Yeah.
And Satan did the same thing.
I was about to say
That's
Satan.
crazy.
They coveted his house.
Pride.
And his
Yes, literally. The reason Lucifer fell was because he coveted God.
Pride and envy.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So, like...
And then Cain and Abel was the same thing.
Cain and Abel is the same... I mean, I feel like we could go down the whole Bible, right? I mean, if we're talking Jacob and Esau, right? That's a huge example, right?
Yeah, it's at the core of, like, everybody's...
The firstborn, right? It's at
like,
the,
big sins, the really big ones. Obviously, David is like a very obvious one, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
His
saw her
neighbor's
bathing
wife.
on the roof, blah, blah, blah.
It was literally his neighbor's wife.
Yeah.
That's really what
Legit.
it was. From his house, he saw his neighbor's wife.
One of his mighty men was his friend.
Brutal.
Yeah,
That's
crazy. Now,
covetousness.
let's circle that back around, right? Because we're all sinful beings. We're all humans, right? And we all fall short of the grace of God, but God provides us that grace. And all the men we're talking about, well, not all of them, maybe not Cain, right? But but the men that we're talking about are literal examples in the Bible of great men after God, right? We're talking David. King David. That dude was messed up. Like, read his whole story. Dude was messed up.
Crazy level of sin.
But, like,
for somebody that's after God's own heart, you know, most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, that's
but still defined as God as someone who's after his heart, right? And so there is redemption and there's grace in God. And I mean, it's evident we don't deserve it. So the people that have not really read through the Bible and just like, oh, you know, all these like people and examples and think there's a bunch of saints on that book. There's a lot of real people that are doing real stupid stuff.
Horrific
and God's grace just covers them all. And we are in the same boat. We're literally in the same boat.
That boat
right?
over there.
Huh?
Sorry.
That boat right there.
The Cerulean.
The Silurian. You know? And so I think that's a great finishing commandment there.
Yeah.
Especially in our series. We're going to have to start doing more series. I kind of like this.
That was a good idea.
Instead of just random one-shots, those are probably good too for us to do, but
let's run some
finding a
one-shots.
series, right? Finding a series of biblical points to speak on for like a certain amount of weeks or something like that. I think
like a
that'd be
sermon
really good
series
point.
kind of thing?
What's that?
Like a sermon series?
Yep.
Yeah, like a sermon series, I guess.
All right, the next one is at the movies.
Stop the stream.
Come on, man.
We'll see you guys next week. No, just
Throw some dice at him.
Edit that one out.
That's awesome. That was so good. That was a beautiful way to end that.
Hey, I mean,
So-
speaking of at the movies,
That's kind of what we are.
that's what we are essentially, except
Yeah, for
we're
sure.
making the stories ourselves.
We are the
and-
movie.
Well, it's at the
Yeah.
streamies.
Huh?
At the streamies.
At the streamies.
Streamies.
At the Moonbeam. But no, I just one point on coveting, right? We've been talking about it and has still not been addressed. Just the entire relationship between Arlyn and Calagon.
Yeah.
Just
Oh
as
yeah,
a
that's what I was
whole,
thinking for sure. Yeah.
right? As a whole,
Not anymore.
is
On my
not
end.
anymore. You're
on my end.
you're a dragon, bro,
Yeah.
right? But
You
like,
can covet me now.
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing is, I feel like part of Arlyn not giving back what is rightfully yours, that was already instructed to him, is part of coveting that power.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so it's not just Calagon being like, he gets all the cool stuff. And like, you know what I mean? Like, that's in part of it, right? But like the struggle, the internal hidden struggle that's happening between Arlyn and Calagon in our show is rooted in this commandment.
Oh my goodness.
What's up?
Arlyn relied so much on his power that in essence, it's the very reason he didn't make it through the Bastion.
Wow, yeah, it is. That's what got him there, yeah. That's what got him out.
Mm-hmm.
And while everybody had to be more creative and
with what they had
and were more attuned to their weaknesses, and it got them through.
Well said.
And there you go. The story tells itself.
So it makes sense that Arlyn didn't become more powerful. So now he learns to humble himself.
Oh well, honestly, I mean, I did mention that.
And to be second in command.
Oh, shut up! I did mention that though.
Coveting. You can covet position as well.
Yeah, you can. I think that's what Rodrick's doing right now, right? But I think I did mention that not making it into the Bastion is an incredibly humbling experience for Arlyn. Oh, yeah. Incredibly humbling. What
about starting a war?
Huh?
So what about starting a war? Where's that one lie? Where's that?
Honestly, it might still be. It's just like that didn't go well. I shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty baller.
I feel
though.
like it is pretty baller. I feel like Arlyn is still like sticking to his guns that what he did was the right thing.
What's crazy is
but at the end of the day,
he started it in our name. Right?
Yeah. We're gonna have to wipe out the Vindrel dynasty.
we need to. I think.
Man the Bastion.
I was gonna say, Rodrick may have been the one asking for the Four Horsemen's name to be spread far and wide. Arlyn has now guaranteed it.
There you go.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, but it requires a rebrand now.
Well, anyways, Tristan. Actually, hold on. I wanted to do something. It's very likely.
Ooh.
Obviously, we're not going to be on next week, and we have
babies to have. Yeah.
You know, we have to record some stuff, and it's very likely, because of where you guys are in your pregnancy, that we might not see Tristan in the beginning of the Great Sea Song for a little while, right? We'll see. I wanted us. We've never done this on the stream before, but I wanted us to do a prayer over Tristan in this next transition going into fatherhood. And you know, I mean, this is husbanding level 2. Sure. You know, you're leveling up too, just like they are.
Yeah.
Notice I said
you're gonna come back like physically different as well, trust me.
Yeah. He's gonna
gray hair, bags under his eyes.
Yeah. No more smooth Tristan with the perfect hair.
He's gonna come back like this.
He's gonna come back with a beard.
He's gonna come back with a beard. He said, I mean, he ain't wrong. Yeah. Only one still not bearded here.
Disheveled. No more pirate shirts.
I'll intentionally just not shave just to come back.
Yeah, dude. Stains.
Oh,
Stains.
Awesome. Yeah. So
lead opposite of my character.
So I'd like to. It's so funny. I'd love to do a prayer for you, Tristan.
That'd be awesome, man.
And if you guys and the viewers could join us, just to help him kind of, you know, prepare for this next season. You know, so Father God, we come before your presence, Lord, humbly, and together. Lord, first off, we thank you for the opportunity that we get to do this every week, and we get to be here together as a group, as friends, as fellow believers, with a common mission in mind. Father God, we place Tristan in your hands. He has dedicated himself to building this adventure in this world for us, and now he is on to building a completely different adventure and world of his own with his wife and his family. Father God, we place Tristan's wife in your hands as they go through labor, as they go through postpartum, as they go through every single stage that comes with parenthood, Lord. That it can be the most beautiful thing, and it could also be some of the scariest moments that we've all experienced, and open up his mind and give him wisdom, Father, wisdom on how to navigate as a father, as a husband, Lord, as a man of God, leading his family through this transition and through this new stage of their life, Lord. Father God, equip his hands to finish their house, Lord, finish their house, to finish setting everything up so that they are ready when Grayson comes through in your perfect timing. Lord, we bless the hands of the doctors. We bless the hands of the nurses that will be caring for them in the hospital whenever this may be, Lord. Have them be prepared for any situation. And Lord, we ask that you place your hand on the entire process. That Grayson comes through perfectly healthy in your name, Lord. And that they're able to experience the beautiful stage of life that is to grow a family and teach a human being about your love, about life, and everything that comes with it. Father, we love you. Father, thank you that we get to do this with people that we love, and just be the hand of support that guides them through it all, Lord. Thank you, God. And in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
We love you, bro.
Me too, dude.
We love you, bro.
We love you.
So?
With that, obviously, our family continues to grow here at Divine Inspiration, but you guys are clearly a part of that with every single one of us. We love you guys so much. Thank you for being part of this journey. It really is such a fun adventure, and I can't wait to pick it back up with you guys here. Hopefully just in a few weeks.
Yeah.
But in a different seat.
Haha!
So with that,
We're trading.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys from a whole different perspective next time around. But again, we love you. God bless you. See you then.
Bye-bye.